welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. I am the Liverpool 12th Man, and I'm also joined by Scouse Lee and the Irishman today for what is a little bit of PTSD, I guess, from the Caicedo fiasco last year. It is something that has a lot of people kind of regretting, or not necessarily regretting, but like possibly getting anxious, to say the least, when it comes to the actual signing of this player. Now, the only difference in between this is that we are not looking at a situation where a player is getting hijacked by another team. It's more so we are looking at a position where a player might choose to stay at his club. So we are now faced with wondering what exactly is going on. Again, I'm joined by Scouse Lee, and I'm joined by the Irishman today. Lee, how are you doing today?
Good.
Okay. Irishman, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very well.
Okay. It's good to hear, despite the news, I guess, or despite the uncertainty. I know a lot of people were very hyped about this potential transfer, and that's not saying that it's off. That's not saying that it's done. It's not saying that it's dead. I think that just the sheer fact of what happened last summer has a lot of the the rivals and a lot of the people out there, the other content creators, or even people in the chat, not our chat, but most likely other chats, ready to pounce on the opportunity to say, to do what's the character's name in The Simpsons? That's like the bully guy. It's like
Yeah. Nelson.
Is it Nelson? Okay, yeah, they're ready.
Nelson Muntz, isn't it? His name's Muntz, which made me laugh. Ended in Z. Muntz.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. A lot of people out there that are, or at least some people out there that are ready to have that be their moment.
Oh yeah, I've seen them today in several chats. There aren't many of them, but a lot are saying, there's no substance to this. FSG are doing this deliberately to make it look as if they want a good player, and then they say, "Oh, it didn't work." This is the idea these people are propagating in chat boxes all day. There's only a few of them though.
That's kind of weird that they would think that that the conspiracy would go that. Yeah, it's one thing to say that
and it's unwise to not be cautious over things like this in your own mind and not get carried away, because believe me, I get carried away myself, mate. I'm like a child over Liverpool signings. I'm like an infant, one of the worst ones ever. But there you go. That's football, and what I mean. But I just hope that all this doesn't come to naught. We'll soon see. It can't take long. It surely can't take long now to find out a definitive yes or no. Maybe within the next 2 or 3 days, we'll know for certain if there is a chance of us getting them.
Yeah, there's other news out there too. I mean, we're gonna definitely go into the obvious news about Zubimendi. Talk a little bit more at depth about that. Get Brian's opinion on that. Also, there's the talk about Kelleher actually is in the news as well, which was surprising. It's not. No, I guess you could say surprising. But Kelleher is in the news, and also Vandenberg's in the news as well. So even an interesting shout out there about a former Red that could be making a return, not to Liverpool at least, but could be making a return to the Premier League, which should be very, very interesting. So. A bunch of good stuff to talk about today. So we're gonna talk about Zubimendi right now, about the uncertainty. What are your takes on this, Brian? Like, are you chestfallen about this, or are you disappointed, or do you already have like a fall guy set up already type deal like some people out there have?
Well, I don't know why it's not off. It wasn't on last. It wasn't done deal last night. It's not off today. With the guys' club, I thought I didn't know they were kind of. I thought they were not happy to let him go, but I didn't realize they weren't mad about the idea. So now, if they're trying to make a play to keep him, that's to be expected. That he's not just because he's all these other moves before that have been turned down. So he obviously kind of person doesn't rush into a decision. So it hasn't kind of overly surprised me that again that he might be convinced not to go. But like someone was saying, that all the people around him are kind of saying, look, this is your chance. And he's just had that last moment hesitation. So there's nothing that says to me that he made a definitive decision either way. So yeah, it's gone. I think it's just basically like a last minute kind of potential distraction. They're just going to say like, put there's something like a plan together. We can win the Champions League together. We can get back to the top together. So it looks like they're putting a last play to keep him, which is fair play or fair enough.
They are. They are.
So it all comes down to that, really. If he was 22, but it's the fact he's 25 now. Yeah, it's a very delicate process, I'd say, at the moment. I'd say they made their pitch to him. I mean, Liverpool have, obviously. So, yeah, this is it's kind of personal. It all really depends. Like, if this guy is one of those, if it was up to him, who's good at, like a Totti, a one-club man, if that's all he's interested, like, if that's his ideal, then you can't really do anything about that. If they say, look, we want you to stay and be captain for life, and he says, yeah, I'd never want to leave this club, then you can't really do anything about it. But it looks like, I'd say the Liverpool lads are sweating a bit now.
Yeah.
I'd say he's gone. Sorry, he's gone to Germany, I think, hasn't he?
Say one more time.
Sorry, they're just saying he's gone to Germany with them. He's gone to Germany with Sociedad, apparently. So I don't know.
Yes, he went with the team. Yeah, he did go with the team.
Yeah.
Well, you expect him
so like he is still
him to go. Just because we're linked with him doesn't mean he's going to stop playing for them, like in friendlies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have expected. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like usually you do see a player tend to not play or not go with club, and that's like, so that's just so they don't have the unfortunate circumstance of him getting injured and that derailing the deal. But considering that the team wants him to stay or is trying to get him to stay, maybe that's the reason why they're like, yeah, why not just come along for the ride? It's a real question. It's a weird question, and I know a lot of people are very much disgruntled over the circumstances. But I mean, like just as Brian said, I think it's one where you have a place. Sometimes you see that there's a lot of complexities towards getting a deal done. And I also thought that it could have been also. I thought it could have been what Brian had mentioned earlier or mentioned yesterday as well, which was, it could be a situation where they are contemplating how much more they will offer above the 51 million so that they could pay in installments instead of having to pay the 51 million up front all at once because of the release clause being that you have to pay everything up front. So I thought that was the reason why there was a little bit of a delay on the confirmation on the deal. But it is what I don't want to say it is what it is. I'm still very optimistic that I'm still optimistic that we'll see this happen. And like I don't think it derails us from like contention if it doesn't. I mean, do you guys have us? This year? Do you guys have us contending for? I mean, obviously, you have us contending for top 4. I'm certain. But I mean, do you have us contending for the league this year, Lee?
Big Zubimendi, yeah, and a centre back. Don't see why not. But without that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we'd be in the title race like without them additions. Or no, even if if not Zubimendi, it means someone else. Then if we get someone similar profile, similar style that we think will do the job, then yeah, we'd have a chance. But without signings, I don't see it now. I see it's probably just being a little bit short of actually troubling City.
Okay. Do you, Brian? Do you have us actually contending this year?
Well, like Lee said, those 2 additions would be key. If we were to go into it with just the squad that we have, I think, yeah, we'd be falling short again. Even with kind of rejigged stuff and new tactics, I think we wouldn't have enough.
We're not going to scare City, are we, with this squad and no additions and a new manager? That's not going to frighten Pep, that is it?
No, we'd be better than most of them still again, but we wouldn't be. But yeah, like that's it. That's not going to push us from where we were at the end of last season, where we were dropping off. It'd be vital. Yeah, we'd be kind of. I'd just be looking at if we did nothing, I'd be looking at Champions League. But I don't think we're going to do nothing. So with the right signings, we should be. With the right signings, I think we will be contenders. But only one team.
Here's a hypothesis for you. What if Virgil van Dijk got injured really early in the season, like badly injured, and was out for months? And Ibu's fitness problems persisted, and we were left with just Jarell Quansah and Joe Gomez at centre back, and we didn't have a new number 6. We only had Endo and the others. I couldn't see us challenging for the league then, could you? You know what I mean? We'd be looking to get 4th with no Virgil van Dijk and no Ibu. So we need to look at centre back because we are literally 1 injury to Virgil away from being scuppered. We will be without him. He is our defence in many ways. Like, you take him away and put Jarell on his own with Joe Gomez. No.
There was also a report of Kelleher still wanting to possibly leave the team despite the fact of being given an opportunity. We all saw Kelleher get the number 1, nod for all the preseason games. We saw Kelleher, be given the opportunity and the likes, but and it is a situation where apparently he still is interested in trying to get a first team gig somewhere else. So I know that we're now apparently only looking at offers that start in the £25 million range. That's like the bare minimum, I think, that we're trying to get for the player. I know that there are reports about the Marmar. Well, how do you say his last name again?
Marmardashvili.
Yes. There are reports out there that he, despite possibly wanting to go to, or despite us going for the goalkeeper and saying that we would possibly put him on loan or loan him out immediately after getting his services, he still is interested in joining Liverpool. He sees a future with us, which is very, very cool and great to hear. But it is a little bit disappointing to hear that Kelleher wants to leave, because Kelleher is not only a very serviceable deputy to Alisson, There have been reports that Alisson is looking at possibly making this his last year with the club and moving on after this year. So we do have a little bit of uncertainty at the goalkeeping position, despite having, I guess you could say, certainly some very, very good world-class goalkeepers in that mount. So, do you want to see? It's obvious that I think we all want Kelleher to stay, but is this a logical move? Is this something that we should be prepared for to happen? And if so, does that mean that
shouldn't really happen at a club that's doing well? At a club that's doing well, where the number 2 is playing a significant proportion of the games, and the number 1 is the world's best goalkeeper, there shouldn't be a problem. I don't really see Weaven's problem. He got well enough games last season. Well enough games. I know Alisson was injured, but come on. I mean, he was getting games anyway, like when Alisson wasn't injured. It's not like he gets ignored. I understand it, but I'd be open that he'd look at it and go, well, I'd rather be here winning trophies. You know what I mean? I mean, he was in the Carabao Cup winning team money. I'd rather be here doing this than being number 1 for a much lesser club. And then he knows that Alisson won't go on forever. He knows Alisson, if he thinks Alisson might leave next summer, then why leave now? Just wait it out another year and see if Alisson does leave, and then you're number 1, mate. Show a bit of foresight.
Well, I think you did him wrong there. You said he still wants to leave despite being given the chance to be number 1. He started the friendlies on the tour because Ali wasn't there. That's not being given the chance to be number 1. Of course, he's going to start when Ali wasn't there. So he wasn't given the chance to be number 1. He knows he's still number 2.
I think you're construing my words. I said he was the number 1 goalkeeper on the preseason. I get Alisson wasn't there, but he is.
Yeah, but what you said was he still wants to leave despite being given the chance to be number 1.
Well, despite given the chance to show that he could be number 1.
No, okay, but can I just go? I won't take forever. I just that was wrong. He isn't going to be number 1. He knows he's going to be number 2 as soon as Ali comes back. If he plays, it's the same roundabout for him. Every year, I'll be number 2. And you said it yourselves. You said Alisson might leave in a year, and you said then Mamrashvili is prepared to be bought and then come in a year's time. Well, put that 1 and 1 together and make 2. Mamrashvili is going to come in and replace Alisson. So Kelleher won't replace Alisson if he leaves. So he's said from day 1, if he's not going to be, he wants to play first team football. It's not if Liverpool don't let me play. It's I just want to be first team football. It's gone on every year for 3 seasons now. So I just think he's been told that's his thing. He wants to do. If he's happy, he's won stuff here. Yeah, all of that. But if he wants to play number 1 for a Brighton or a Wolves, I'm not going to say he shouldn't go and do it. Because I think he's been told now. If that Mamrashvili thing is true, then that's obviously what the Edwards plan is. Alisson will be gone in a year and Mamrashvili will be ours, ready to come in. So I think Kelleher now is one of those guys. If he wants to stay, it'll only be because he doesn't get a suitable offer. But yeah, he's going to be number 2 again. He'll get the Carling Cup and he'll get the League Cup. If that's going to be enough for another year, I don't think it is. I think he's ready to go out and be his own man, the big wide world.
I thought that my perception of what has been this summer for Kelleher is it was the opportunity to not only perform well, but in the sense of maybe securing his 25 million, if not 30, 40 million, however, whatever the valuation was that Liverpool put on him. I thought that it was more so that it was an opportunity to reassure teams that he is that valuable. He is a valuable keeper. It was also an opportunity, the same opportunity that Sepp, I believe, has. I know that
shop window.
Yeah.
Shop window jobs.
Yeah, to be able to show their talents and be able to say that they are serviceable players that could, playing against top-notch, first team competition in the preseason against teams that are very formidable teams. And all three teams that we did play in the preseason did have pretty much a good assortment of their first teamers in the team. So it wasn't like you're playing against, all youngsters or something.
Some of them had stronger lineups than us, didn't they? Have more of their first team regulars than us, some of the teams we played. So we didn't do too badly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those cases where I think that unfortunately, when it comes to some of the teams out there that are looking at some of the players that we have, I'm hoping that we can get the evaluations that we have set on their heads, I guess, because ultimately, I know so often I hear, that's just from us talking, but you also hear so many people go, oh, well, he's not worth this or he's not worth that in a lot of people's minds. And I go, you look at the market and I go, I think Kelleher is worth the values that they're putting out there. If what was the Burnley keeper that we were interested in? Yeah, as in when you look at the evaluations that they're putting on a player like that for a team that was relegated, you get to say, okay, well, yeah, I think that Kelleher is that level, if not better. So it's something that I would hope that we're able to get and secure. And if we are able to secure it, then great. I mean, it definitely would make a difference in our pursuit of the Georgian keeper, and also it would make a difference in his him being now the second, him being the deputy to Alisson this year, as opposed to going out on loan. It would definitely change up that plan as well, certainly. So we shall see. We shall see. That was the Kelleher news. There's no definitive news that he is going anywhere, but there is the fact that it was out there that he still does want to find an exit from the club and find an actual team to get first team.
Very late in the day for a big club to all of a sudden decide they need a goalkeeper and they're ready to get one.
That's a good point.
Very, very late in the day.
That's a very good point.
How many years has Alisson got left on his deal?
He's got
two, isn't it?
2 years left.
Yeah. So we'll have to see if Creven's amenable to the idea of maybe just waiting it out one more season and maybe
cut the cord
next year.
The cord.
But, yeah. I mean, if he wants it, look, if the lad wants it, then it's best to let him go. But I've said previously, the least upheaval, the best. Every preseason, the less turnover of players, the better for your squad. The less numbers out and in, it just helps it. And that's where I am with this. But if he wants to go and pursue being a number one, I'd be happy with that because he's been good and he's a nice guy. I'd be happy for him. Yeah, as long as we got paid, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. As long as we get a good return, I'm cool with it. I'm not trying to sell Kelleher just to sell Kelleher. That's my point.
I'm always cool with it if players want to move on for playing reasons because they're not playing here. We just say, they're walking out because they want to play at the end of the day, especially keepers. Keepers don't come on a sub, do they? You know what I mean? You don't keep them on a sub. So
you get knocked out. You get knocked out of the League Cup in the first round because you get a dodgy draw, and that's one competition gone.
Yeah.
You say you only get 2 games you happen to be injured for one of the FA Cup games. You only get 2 other games, so you get 1 cup game in the FA Cup. I mean, all of a sudden that can be your season.
You take them out.
Yeah, you're kind of working. Oh, you'll play the cups. You're kind of working on this big club assumption that you'll get to semi-finals and stuff. You get a dodgy round. You come up against, you get drawn against Man City or Chelsea early doors in the League Cup, and bad night and you're out.
Well,
even against anybody,
Arsenal immediately in the FA Cup. The first draw we got in the FA Cup in the 3rd round when we joined in was Arsenal away. That can happen anytime. Now we went through as it happens before going out to United.
Yeah,
but, you know what I mean. You can get a draw like that at the beginning of any competition.
I just think Kelleher is a bit of a domino transfer. I just think he's one of those guys that a club doesn't have the need or the urgency to go out and spend that money on him right now. But if a bigger club was to come in and take their goalkeeper, I just think he's a domino player. I think he's waiting on something to happen. And if that doesn't happen, then you could be sitting on your thumbs. So yeah, it is a tough life as a second choice goalkeeper because you can't force your way out. You know, do you want to drop all the way to some stupid club just to get games? You know, he's too expensive. You know, he's made himself kind of difficult and unattainable for a lot of clubs. So it's a real hard equation to get him an exit and to get us what we need and to keep everybody happy.
Yeah, it's a hard one for one of those lower Prem teams to afford, and a goalie like that, isn't it? Especially if they've just been promoted or just avoided relegation or something. It's hard for them to have that type of money for a goalie, isn't it?
Going to spend it on a striker or a top quality midfielder, a top quality centre half, you know, and then say it's a Southampton, right? Just for not saying he'd go there, but just say they came up and they had a young superstar goalie, and you know, all of a sudden Manchester City come in and decide to we're going to take him for 25 million. Then a Kelleher is attained. You know, then a Kelleher move becomes. But something like that has to happen because they don't need to go out and do it. And like I said, that'd be real squad building kind of stuff. So you probably would have gotten that goalkeeper done. I mean, a lot earlier in the year than 2 weeks or a week before the start of the season. So it's looking like it's a bit of a kind of an impasse.
An impasse.
You know, a lot of things having to fall into place, and they're just not happening for the kid. So, hey, look, worse things, than to be stuck at Liverpool.
No, there are a lot worse things. Lot worse things similar to what just happened to Jaden Dan's. Hyler's reporting Jaden Dan's injured and out for 2 months.
Oh no! It's not his knee, is it?
It says 2 months. If he's out for 2 months, it might not be a knee injury. I'll double check for you. But it says Hyler might be able to just include what it is that the injury is. But it says, but at least he won't go out on loan to Plymouth and Wayne Rooney.
Oh yeah, Rooney's at Plymouth. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll look up that update and that update for you guys in a second. I was going to bring up the part and point about moving on to Vandenberg. Look, there's some really there now that we're in this period. There's not much room left, as you said, in the window for making these moves. A lot of these moves need to be again our version of Fast and Furious because there's only so much time that you're going to have to to properly acclimate these players to the squad, figure out who and what is going to work with the formations that we're going to be going on. I know that we do have two I wouldn't call them scrimmages, but like 2 friendlies coming up, or 2 friendlies, 2 exhibition matches coming up. And it's one of those situations where we have a lot of players that are going to be possibly finding new surroundings. I was going to bring up this one point here too. So we now have Ben Doak, Tyler Morton, Lewis Kumas, and Harvey Blair have all been technically cut from the senior squad to return. Tyler saying it's a back injury, by the way. I think he had a back injury before he must have retweaked his back injury because that was the injury that kept him from preseason originally. Making the preseason tour at least. But Ben Doak, Tyler Morton, Lewis Kumas, and Harvey Blair all featured obviously in the preseason for us. Are now returning to the under 21s. And it's a case where now do they stay with the under 21s or do they possibly go out on loan? I know that Tyler Morton was a name that was actually being, shuffled around towards possibly being an acquisition. There was also the names of Ben Doak possibly being a transfer acquisition as well. If not an acquisition, most likely a loan situation for him and for Tyler Morton. I haven't really heard anything in the rumor universe on Kumas and Blair getting interest for certainly not any transfers, but I don't know if they've gotten on the list for loans. It's also a situation where there's only a certain amount of loans that you can make in a year, in a season. So there's only so many names that you can put out on loan. We could thank, I think I could almost thank Chelsea for that number going down, because I think it was actually more than it is certainly now. But
yeah.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
No. What's the question about Vandenberg in this?
So now what I was going to say is that, like, now that the squad has been reduced, it also means that is Sepp. I mean, right now we're chasing about 20 million for Sepp Vandenberg, and it's a case where it might actually happen, but it takes a domino effect for it to happen. And what I mean by that is, it is being reported that PSV, who is one of the teams that are very interested in his services, it would be returned to Holland for Vandenberg. They have a player named Jordan Teze, and PSV is looking to sell Jordan Teze to AS Monaco, okay, in France. But AS Monaco doesn't want to meet their evaluation of Jordan Teze. So what it is now is, if they can get the money for Jordan Teze from Monaco, they're going to use that money plus whatever extra or whatever is the difference in the fees to bring in Vandenberg. But those dominoes have to drop. So where I was happy with Vandenberg's gameplay. I was happy with what he showed in preseason. Again, it's another shop window player as well. But knowing that we still got to wait for these dominoes to fall, knowing that there is the rumors of the Bastoni rumors, there's also now the rumors of the next center back that we're actually targeting will be Hincape as well. That's the next, at least that's one of the reports out there, is that's the next center back that we're going to go for. If we are going to bring in one of these big name center backs, whether it's Bastoni, whether it's Hincape, it still means that most likely that's just one more notch down the ladder for Vandenberg from seeing actual playing time. So what do we do with Vandenberg? What do we honestly do with Vandenberg? Do we hold tight for the 20 million, or do we possibly take a little bit of a haircut on that price just to make sure that we get something for him?
Okay. We refused to take an haircut on the Nat Phillips money we were offered at one point, and it wasn't massive, but it was worth it, the money we were offered from that, and we didn't take it, and then it was not there. Mm-hmm. So I don't want that to happen again.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Irishman. I know you're about to hop in at the same time.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to, before we moved on to Hincape, like, just to keep it on Sepp. If the question is just what do we do with Sepp, I mean,
yeah, that's the question.
That was just the question. Yeah, I mean, you're asking me what we should do. If the
I already know what you can do really
exactly.
much, but you can, I mean, like, yeah.
No, yeah, well, right. So, like, more to do with the price.
But honestly, do you take a? I'll ask the direct question. Do we hold tight for the 20 million, or do we take a little bit of a haircut on it? And
yeah, I was trying to get there. Yeah, I was just saying, like, you know how I feel on it. I can go. You know how I feel on it. So I said I won't up. But you had asked me directly about the price, whether I take the thing on that. This is what I was talking about a minute ago with domino transfers. This is what needs to happen sometimes. If there's a club like that, which is like PSV, I'm sure it's probably a more attractive club to him than, say, a Mainz or, I don't know, like a lower league Bundesliga club. PSV is a much bigger club to be at, and he gets to be at home. So he might be kind of hanging back, and they're saying, look, just wait, let us get this guy sold, and then we'll come in for you. And then it doesn't really, like, if it's about, like I said, with a guy like Sepp, I would have taken anywhere from 12 to 15. But if it's a lump sum, if it's going to be paid over 5 years, then get as much as possible. But yeah, anything that goes around 15 is fine by me. It's just get it over. Like I say, cut the cord and let him go on. 15 million sterling, 20 million euro. I'm not quibbling over a few million quid for him if it's just get that deal done and over. But it's PSV sounds right, and I can understand why he might want to say, I'll wait for them, to get that deal done. But yeah, this guy that they're trying to sell goes out and train tomorrow and does his ACL, and then what happens? It's like you're in a chain.
Let's hope this other bloke manages to get his move to Monaco. This whatever he was bloody called, I forget now what he said his name was. But let's hope he gets his move to Monaco. And
look at them people. He's saying it like if a club like Leverkusen, right? I mean, a club like Leverkusen or something like that was to come in for him. I mean, they wouldn't be getting him for 12 million euro. Like, if Leverkusen rate him, then they can pay 20 million euro for him. But I wouldn't be trying to fleece, like Tottenham. It used to happen to Tottenham all the time back in the day. They'd be really close to selling a player or getting a player. And then right at the end, they try and like haggle 2 million quid at some small club. And it just messed the whole deal up. But like I was saying, so clubs like Mainz or like the likes of Stuttgart, I wouldn't be Hoffenheim. Well, Hoffenheim money, but you know what I'm saying. But a cash deal up front, I would have taken 12 million. But if all these levels of clubs, if the likes of Leverkusen and PSV are in for him, I'd bump that up to 15 minimum, and hopefully get max it out at 20. You'd be doing well. Like you said, that'd pay.
Well, right now, Jordan Teze. I was going to say, right now, Jordan Teze's market value is about 18 million euros, basically, is what his market value is. They're trying to get around. I think the initial offer was closer to like 20 million that they asked for, basically 20 million euros is what I think the initial offer or number that they're trying to get from Monaco. I don't know what it's like. There's a lot. I put up Heilor's comment here. He says Stuttgart, Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg, Mainz, Bruce Mönchengladbach, Bayern Leverkusen are all said to be keen on signing Sepp Vandenberg with concrete offers made by some. That's according to Sky Germany. I mean, like, and he's also saying that Germany needs him. Germany could use him as certainly. And that's the case, is that like Sepp is a player that there is a good player there. He's played well in the Bundesliga. He's played well in preseason for us. Do I see him surmounting Kwanzaa in his role or in the pecking order? No. Do I see him beating out Konate in the pecking order? Honestly, no. But I do see a very good center back there. It's just a matter of whether we hold tight for the 20 million. And I know that seems weird. It does sound weird sometimes because I guess not all teams. When you think of Bundesliga, you obviously think of Bayern Munich. But I mean, like, you would think that with the prices and the figures that Bayern Munich pays whether it's salary or even when it's the transfer fees that they pay for some of these players, because they paid heavily for De Ligt, for instance, a really big sum for that player at the time. It's not like that's Bayern Munich though. I get it. And then you look at the other portions of the league, and it's like, it gets to 20 million is a lot to these clubs, and that's where
that's what I meant earlier on about how I wouldn't be trying to fleece a club like Mainz if they were the only club in from, because that would be huge money for them. I wouldn't be like jeopardizing a deal. That's why I was trying to make that point, was like, if they were the biggest German club in from, don't hold out for 20 because that deal will collapse. But then when I saw, if a club like Leverkusen is in from, that is a lot of money still, but it wouldn't be, huge for them. I think it's a lot. That name stands out when you look at those clubs. Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg, Mainz, and then Leverkusen. That's a big jump up. Or even for PSV, that is, they'd be wanting to do that in installments, like 18 million. It will be a lot of money. So yeah, it will come down to like getting the price right for him. It's not some big club going in, look, whatever, if it's 35, 40, whatever. For them, that 1 or 2 million here or there could make the difference. So
right.
Yeah.
But it does sound, I guess,
it's reasonable
wild to say. Yeah, it sounds wild to say that, like, considering what the prices that Premier League teams are facing when they go for some of these players, and the numbers that they have to face off when it comes to trying to get these players. It's okay when it comes to them. When it comes to the Premier League, the fleece is on, basically. When it comes to
that'd be more than Man City paid for Akanji. You know what I mean? Like, it can be done, but it's very, very rare. Yeah, but that'd be a top centre half. But yeah, that is the way it goes sometimes. You're a big club. You're going to pay extra. But
so
look, I don't know, man. I'm more interested about some guy coming in. If he's still here in 2 weeks and we haven't signed anybody, you're probably looking all right. Well, he probably gets some games.
I don't know too much about Monaco's largest. What's like, as in, what's the biggest deal Monaco's made? I mean, Monaco's made some big deals, right?
That was when they had a billionaire owner, and he's gone now, so that's kind of irrelevant. Like, they spent loads on Falcao and stuff, but that guy went. That was a billionaire oligarch who owned the club, and he got divorced from his wife, so he had to give up the club, and he gave it to his daughter, and they don't spend anything like that anymore. So they've gone back to being kind of normal spending.
Yeah,
but there was when they had Mbappe and they had Falcao and they had like Julie, and they were getting to Champions League semi-final, they were going crazy with money. But yeah, literally, I think it was like one of the world's most expensive ever divorces. When he split up from his wife, and one of the things he did was basically give up Monaco. So yeah, the taps got turned off big time. But they still produce. They're one of those clubs. They produce talent. But yeah, anything above probably 25 million, that would probably be a big layout for them, I'd imagine. Like, everyone in France apart from PSG is broke, basically. We saw Monaco or the other lads going out of business recently. So
apparently. Okay.
Billy Camerio. Billy Camerio, see, we missed it. He was one as well. He moved.
Yeah.
Had high hopes for him back in the day. Billy Camerio. He looked like a really good player. But off to Dundee today. 1 year left on his deal, so permanent move.
Yeah, definitely. I got a request to. I got a knock on the door here. So I will send the link to this gentleman. We also might be joined by, we're also going to be joined by another guest as well in a minute or two. But I just sent the link out to you, brother. So it looks like, let me see. I just pulled up all their arrivals. just as you said, Jaime Rodriguez. That was like 2013. When did the billionaire leave the club? Did you say?
That's about 4 or 5 years ago now. It's 4 or 5 years ago now.
Because there was a big name transfer in. Well, they did make a big name. They did make a big transfer for Balogun. They made that. He's the U.S. men's national team player that was playing for Arsenal.
Yeah,
30 million euros they paid for him last year.
Yeah, so that's
like all and then they also made one for Dennis Zachary from Juventus for 20 million euros.
He was on in the Premier League, wasn't he, Zakaria?
Yeah.
But that's the level they're operating now. 20, 25, 30. You've just said it there. Like 20 to 30. That's there. Like they used to be able to pay whatever.
That's why I was that's why I was asking. Because like the other years you're talking about your billionaire that you're just talking on that's the Jaime Rodriguez, 45 million, 43 million, 2019.
Back when that was big money.
Yeah. That's still big money. That's big money. Let's bring in.
But it was attractive.
Finish your thought.
No, sorry. Go ahead. I got someone coming in. Bring him in. Who's coming in?
Yeah. We're gonna bring in a guest here. Someone that's going to be taking one of the panel slots for our overrated show that we have postponed, but with the Zubimendi news. But here he is. K-Mac, big up.
How you doing, guys?
Good. Despite the limbo that we're in.
Oh God, Liverpool fans, we got no patience, have we?
No, it's cool. It's cool.
You're not allowed to negotiate. That doesn't happen anymore.
They made another one too, by the way, Brian. They got this guy, George Ilankena he was from Belgium, from Royal Antwerp. 18.75 million euros.
Yeah, I didn't say they were penniless. So I'm just saying the billionaire guy is gone. They don't. Days are over.
I feel.
I mean,
3 billion the wife got. I think
that's crazy, isn't it? Have you ever been to that stadium as well? It's really weird.
It's a car park, or it's on top of a car park.
It's on top
really
of the shopping center. It's really weird.
Yeah, all the players that come back from there, they say like, if you go up and you come down hard, if you jump and you land hard on that pitch, it's like landing on concrete.
Yeah. Oh wow!
It's built on top of a shopping center.
That's very, very surprising, considering that Monaco is one of the richest.
Yeah, that ground isn't fancy.
It's a tiny wee place.
Yeah,
that's very weird.
Yeah. We're not like Chelsea, where we just sign billions of players and nobody even knows we're going to sign anyone.
Right.
So Chelsea have just signed another goalkeeper, by the way.
Yeah.
For 20 million. They're now on 9 goalkeepers. Like, why would you go to Chelsea? Like, you're really going to get game time.
I will say that I think the reason why some people go to Chelsea is just it's London.
He's off to Belgium, I think, straight away, isn't he?
Yeah.
Who's this?
And they've just signed an Argentine defender as well.
Yeah, the Chelsea guy.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say that a lot of
they're never going to play.
They're never going to play. They're going to probably, it is a virtual warehouse, but I mean they've got to figure out somewhere and some place to put these players, because I mean, you're only allowed so many players on your roster, and you're only allowed so many loans, and a lot of these guys that they have on their roster, or at least on their books, are signed to these, as people used to like to call them, death row contracts of 7, 8, 9 years or whatever the heck they're on. So it is a case where it's a question.
They're on, was it 43 players now on their books?
I just sent you an image I just sent you an image on your DMs on Twitter of the whole Chelsea squad.
That's not even been updated, mate. Brian,
yeah,
you still
that
got,
well,
you
we
still
can
got players
add the
missing.
new ones. Yeah. Well,
There's
of
like two
course,
players that have been signed since you
I'll
made
bring it
that.
up in 1 second. That's cool.
but it's like you got to
Hold
have one of those spinning tickers at the top,
Yeah.
where it hasn't quite landed on the final number. It's still going to be going up. My God, man. My God, I don't know what they're doing. Well, I know what they're doing, but didn't they cut it? They cut it to 6 now because of them anyway, didn't they? The maximum contract now is 6. But I thought I heard someone got signed on a 7-year deal yesterday, so I don't know what's going on that. But that whole 8-9 year deal, that's stopped this year. So I thought that the maximum
That is so true. What is
6.
going on with that? That is true. What you just said. I don't know what's going on. There was supposedly like you're only allowed to sign 7 players. Yeah.
I thought they actually stopped that because of them.
Yeah, it is
like
because of
another
them.
loophole that they found.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, we best close that loophole."
Let's amortize the shit out of everything. They're like, let's put them on
Exactly.
12-year deals. And it costs them like 500 grand a year. It's like
let's be brutally honest. Like Chelsea was the blueprint for Man City. Like it really was. Like old school Chelsea under Abramovich was the blueprint for how Man City were going to go and do their business and do things. And I hate them for it.
Well, it's true. You park money and they just launched money at it. Like.
Yeah. Well, they just did. What did they do? Didn't they sell their hotel back to themselves?
Yeah.
And no, but the problem was, and I still don't understand this.
Yeah.
Is the Premier League clubs voted that it was okay? Like there was a vote that it was deemed okay, and I'm like, how is that voted okay? That's cooking the books.
Because they want to be able to do something like that themselves in the future. Like,
okay.
I think what they voted against.
That's a good point. I really think about that. That's a very good point.
They get out of jail card for themselves, aren't they? They want to be able to do that in the future.
Yeah, I think what they were. I think what
possible in the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
We got a hotel we need to sell to ourselves. I don't think so.
We all do it, K-Mac. We all sell hotels to ourselves.
No, Manchester United have.
We all do it. When you're stuck for a few quid, just sell a hotel back to yourself and all of that. Being creative. Just being creative. That's all it is.
I have up here the list of players, as you just mentioned. I guess you're right. You have to add another goalkeeper to this list.
I mean, look at that.
Of 8 goalkeepers.
There's only about 6 players that are half decent, if I'm completely honest. I think that you go, yeah, they're good. But the rest are...
That's incredible.
It might be a bit difficult for some people to see. So
I'll read it out. I'll basically tell you if you can't see the image. Basically, this has 8 goalkeepers. They have, 9 center backs. They have 2 right backs, 3 left backs.
And one of them is Reece James. So out of all that, they've 2 right backs and one of them is Reece James. All of that. They're still going to be stuck for a right back after 2 weeks in the Premier League. They're still going to be stuck for a right back after all of that.
Because he's going to be injured in about a couple of days' time.
About 4.5 minutes now, K-Mac, he's due.
Yeah. They have 10 midfielders. They have 7 forwards. They have 3 left wingers and 3 right wingers. That's a lot of players.
Isn't Gusto the second right back? Marlo Gusto.
Yeah, I mean he's all right. Like he's all right.
Still, that's a lot of players.
I know. There's not a huge amount of like players that you go, oh, they're brilliant. Gusto's a good player. Like he is actually.
Who are you taking? Who are you going there and taking? Who are you going there and making a big fuss to take? Breaking the bank, making a big noise, creating a problem by going and trying to take him from Chelsea. I'd take Palmer. I would. I'm not going to say I wouldn't. I would.
Yeah.
Enzo, I think in the right team. Caicedo in the right team, but
he's been made vice captain, by the way. Enzo, he hasn't got any captain. He hasn't got any kind of captain in his body. Like,
well, that's a controversial move, but that's
isn't it?
That is a real smack in the face for the French players on the team.
Isn't that dumb? I just think that's a dumb move.
I'm made up that somebody with no experience has been
very
given.
Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, they've got the real captain who's never on the pitch.
Yeah,
and he's black. And then they got their vice captain. And then they got their vice captain who's a racist.
it's very Chelsea.
Wow. Get that round. Get that in your head.
Yeah.
And the manager's name's Enzo as well, by the way. No favoritism.
He's in his depth. He is so out of his depth.
Yeah,
this is what they don't treat you in.
Brian, I don't think they can get anyone, mate. I don't think they can get anyone else. So they
panicked into
scrambling around.
McKenna knocked them back.
Yeah, to stay with.
So they went for the other guy. I think McKenna said, "Are you crazy? You think I'm taking over that dumpster fire?"
Mate.
But this is what they don't teach you, right? In whatever, teacher coaching college, they don't teach you how to deal with massive racism scandal inside your own club at one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League. They kind of don't teach you that stuff. That's where the kind of proper guys that can rise to the top. You can coach all day long, great, but can you handle a media press conference that's got nothing to do with football and it's all about racism? I mean, this is what happens at big clubs. Things go off that isn't about football, and the likes of Maresca are sitting there going, "I'm just here to coach football players." But yeah, you got 1,000 cameras in front of you because it's Chelsea. It's big news. Even there'll be something else. So this is where the likes of Klopps and Ancelotti's and Guardiolas, these people, they can deal with that stuff as well. So this guy is so far out of his depth. It's unbelievable.
I want nothing but the very worst for Chelsea at all times.
Yeah, at all times.
Absolutely.
Yeah, at all times.
They're a club I love to loathe. I love to loathe Chelsea, and that's all there is to it.
So scummy.
I'll tell you a
story about Chelsea. I'll tell you a story about basically what Chelsea's about. To be fair, I went to the final, and I got tickets for the away end at Wembley when we got beat 2-1, and it was the Drogba final, and Andy Carroll scored. If you remember that one.
Oh yeah.
And we were sat at the away end. Yeah. Yeah, the one, the goal that wasn't a goal. Yeah, the one where he scooped it from over the line. Where Czech scooped it from behind the line. Yeah, I seen that happen. I was there for that. And my mate jumped up and celebrated when Andy Carroll scored. And he's black. You know where I'm going with this. And this Chelsea fan stood up and just started shouting at him. And my mate was like, "Come on, mate! It's an open atmosphere here. Like there's Liverpool fans amongst the Chelsea fans. Like that's the way it is. Like we're at a final." And he just started hailing racial abuse at him. And my mate was going to hit him. Like he really was going to hit him. And I just told my mate to sit down. And then I just walked up to the guy and I went, "Your wife and your kid are stood there watching this." And he just went, and then just sat back down. And I was just like, that's pretty much how you sum it up, really, to be honest. Like,
no, I can't bear that.
Unfortunately, there's the small percentage that ruin it for the rest of them. But that kind of paints your picture. Like my mate thinks that all of the Chelsea fans are racist now, like just because of that one incident, when it could have just been that guy and maybe a couple of others. But it didn't fill me with any with anything nice about them.
Yeah, with me and Chelsea fans, it centres around the vast majority of them being dim-witted and not able to use language very well, like in chat boxes, and put opinions across, like with any accuracy, like, or sense. They're full of shit. Their fans, they really are. A big load of them are massively full of shit and say the most horrible things, like. They love ripping on Scousers, I know that much, like, because I like having a verbal joust with a few of them, like, to tell them what I think of them as well.
I was going to ask, I know that K-Mac is often up to date on these things. Is the Solanke deal finalized? Have they triggered the deal?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, they're looking to get him for less than the 65.
Yeah, but I see
they're
there's a
sitting
report.
firm.
Yeah, someone just tweeted that Diamond Solanke would join Tottenham. It's done, all sealed. Medical is planned already.
No,
Tottenham triggered the 75 million buyout clause.
Tottenham are waiting for a bid for Richarlison from Saudi Arabia because they want to get some funds, and they've also got options on Tony, and they're looking at Tony as well. By the way, he's not the only person.
Richarlison wants to get Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
I don't think is he sure about that?
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a mad one, but there's quite a few Brazilians out there now, and Argentinians. Was it like water off a duck's back for them? Maybe, I don't know.
All right. Before I go too deep into that one, I guess I'll leave that for this private chat, maybe, or something.
Oh, are you talking about which way he bats?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I always wondered that about Richarlison, to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gay, Richarlison. My dad's an Evertonian. Richarlison's gay, yeah, he's gay.
I thought you were all right,
well,
my dad was watching a Richarlison video, even though he doesn't play for Everton no more. My dad follows ex-Everton players when they move on. And he went, I didn't know Richarlison's gay. Yeah, that was basically told me.
Okay, you just said it then.
Those are the thoughts of Lee. Those are not the thoughts of the things
exactly.
There was
a YouTube video where Richarlison said, I am gay. You know what I mean?
That's fair enough.
Dad's story. The man is gay. That's all there is.
Oh wait, he actually has a video where he says that. I didn't see that.
Yes, Richarlison admits. He says, well, he's not admitting it. It's nothing to be, weird about. Like he just said, yes, I'm
okay.
You know what I mean?
I believe you. I definitely believe you.
Yeah, I definitely believe you as well, actually.
Oh man.
But
I mean, that's why I was just wondering, because that would be not the place to go.
Nope.
If that's your orientation, that's all.
No, that wouldn't make sense, would it? But then it
wouldn't. That's why I was just wondering why or how that would actually work.
Even Fry came out and said he used to do gigs in Saudi Arabia years ago for the money, even though he's gay and Jewish, like, you know what I mean? He said it didn't bother me. And he come out in support of Henderson, which was nice of him to back Henderson. When Henderson went there and a lot of gay people went off their head, Fry come out and backed Henderson and said, I worked in Saudi for money, gigged in Saudi for money, years ago. So,
well,
but anyway, if Richie did go there, what a lot of them do is they don't live in Saudi.
They live for sure.
Yeah, they live in Bahrain or they live
in another country. Yeah, live in another
Dubai,
country.
UAE, and they can, depending on what side of the country they're playing in. But a lot of them, they live in Daman and they just can basically drive in, or if you get a helicopter or whatever. But I thought there was a bit of a drop off in that, and that's why I was really, really shocked, surprised, not disappointed, or disappointed, not surprised, not shocked kind of thing when Diaby went there, because Diaby's an excellent player and he turned it all down last year saying, don't want to go there. Why don't you want to go there? Basically saying, I want to play in proper leagues, prove myself at the top level. I want to do it all. And he made it, I thought, a big statement by going to Aston Villa, saying, no, I'll go and prove myself. I won't, I'll do it at a smaller club. And then boom, 2 minutes later, he's off to Saudi. He's like, what changed, man? Like, what changed, Because he's a great player. He's too good to be over there just wasting his career in front of 500 people, 1,000 people at some of these games, 400 people at some of them. And it's stagnating.
Do you know who else has just gone as well? So the third choice Brazilian goalkeeper's gone. Bento, he's gone. He was linked with us. And Ezequiel Fernandez has gone as well. How good is he? Like, we're after him. He was going to be like the next Enzo, the next McAllister. Like, he's gone as well. And then you've still got like all the other players like Malcolm and Neymar and like every other player as well. Like that Demirel, that Turkish defender who was a monster. Yeah. He's out there. Like, what? Crazy.
Yeah. No, it is. It is pretty crazy.
Money.
Saudi make their own rules. I mean, like
Milante.
But we have Nolante in the house.
The only player that didn't make money and went to Saudi Arabia was Jordan Henderson.
Jordan Henderson, yeah, because he's a moron.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that's the GM of our future. Who knows?
Yeah, we shall keep it
on Twitter.
We shall steer it back in a more football centric direction anyway.
Yes, we will. We'll bring Nolante in. Nolante, how are you doing today, brother? Let's see if he's off. He's on mute right now, but yeah, he's good. We're good. Nolante, how you doing?
Yeah, sounding 12, sounding all of you, the rest of you, all good, man. Yeah, man. Been another hectic day for me, but long story, but yeah.
Well, I hope that this
Glad
is at least a little bit of I hope this is a little bit of like, zen to help center you, get you back in a good place.
Sin's a good word right now, believe me.
Because we didn't talk to you. We weren't talking to you last night since the Zubimendi news broke. So how did, just quickly, I'm sure 12 men will have plenty of questions, but we can
do a real, because there's only one other topic I was going to talk about, and that's about, so we can talk.
I was just wondering how you felt when you thought maybe say it might be a done deal. Just a quick one. How were you thinking when you heard Zubimendi might be happening?
Again, Bryce, so I think obviously he's the right player for slot system, but again, I'm just very skeptical. We just need to get the deal over the line. I'm sure from your time they're saying there's uncertainty, but I think he wants to go. I think he's invested in come to the club. It's just about us and sorting the deal out with Sociedad, and then it'll come.
Well, we had to change the thumbnail, man. We had the 12 man. I'll tell you, we had a very different thumbnail ready to go.
I had a different thumbnail going on for this one. Yeah, I definitely did. I'll give you this little quote here. Real Sociedad have launched a charm offensive to keep the Liverpool target Martin Zubimendi at the La Liga club. The power play from the club's hierarchy to Zubimendi complicates matters for Liverpool, who will still have to come to agreement with Sociedad. That's according to Paul Joyce, one of the names that definitely brings you a little bit more assurance of it is a legit quote. That I even saw David Lynch say that it had gone into an unlikely, possibly from likely to unlikely. I asked the guys earlier, I asked Lee and the Irishman earlier how they felt about the deal. K-Mac, how do you feel about that situation?
Can I take up a couple of minutes? Is that all right? Just while I give you a bit of a background on this. Okay,
wait,
so
hold on.
Oh no, you don't have to put my whole head up.
No. You did say a couple of minutes, K-Mac. You did say a couple of minutes. The floor is yours.
No, that's a big screen. That's too big. I don't even have mine that big, mate.
Yeah, I've got fucking 3 screens on here, man. I don't need that shit at all.
Eyes nearly popped out. Okay, so let me just roll back right to the start. Okay. The whole premise on getting Hughes was because he has great relationships with agents and clubs in Italy and Spain. Okay. He also has a great way of finding out release clauses and being able to move players who are unmovable from clubs. Okay. That is the whole premise in getting Richard Hughes. That's already been quoted by a number of journos. Okay. The situation we're in now, and this is what we really need to think about. Okay. Think about the bigger picture. Nobody had a bloody clue that Marseille had a bid rejected for Endo. Nobody knew. Fabrizio Romano didn't know. Paul Joyce didn't know. David Ornstein didn't know. Nobody knew that we turned down a bid from Marseille for Endo. The only reason it came out is because Marseille leaked it. Okay? And that's the only reason it came out. And then we found out that happened 2 weeks ago. Nobody has a clue about what is going on at Liverpool unless we brief them. And the only reason any of this Zubimendi stuff got talked about is because the journos were briefed by the club because they had the information and they knew they were in an advanced stage to get Zubimendi, and they knew we've got to start briefing journos about this now, because this transfer is going to get announced in like a day or two. Okay, we are much further down the line than anybody thinks we are. And if you think about it, David Ornstein knew about the transfer. He knew about the player. He knew his name, but he was embargoed for 24 hours. So all the other journos jumped on top of it 24 hours later and said that they knew, and they knew all this information. And all they're doing is twisting the words. It's the same information that they were briefed by Liverpool. Okay, now we're at a stage where we have activated the release clause. That's already been leaked from Pedro Almeida, who's a reputable journalist in...
Yeah, he's a good source.
Yeah, and there's also a couple of other places, Revelo as well as another one. There's a lot of stuff coming out of the Basque region saying that we've activated the release clause. Okay. The next thing is, what's happening at the same time? Moreno is also in conversations with Arsenal. Okay, so you've got two of their star midfielders who played in the Euros, both with £50 million release clauses. One of them's 28, one of them's 25. One of them came through the youth team, one of them didn't. Okay, he's like a Xabi Alonso to them. He's like a god to them. Like, he's always on the pitch. He's never injured. He gives it his all. He is a £90 million player that we're going to get for 50 million. Let's just put it this way. This is the situation. We've got two teams that are fighting over two players, and they're fighting over the players with contracts now. But the only difference is we're willing to hit the release clause for Zubimendi. Arsenal aren't. They only want to pay 26 million. So they're stuck because they won't pay the full price. And Sociedad don't want to lose both their midfielders. They've already signed Susic to replace one of them, but they're just not sure which one's going to go. Now, we know that Zubimendi turned down Barcelona last year. We know he's turned down Arsenal. We know he's turned down Man United. And we know he's turned down Bayern Munich this year. Okay, he turned down Barcelona last year because Xavi promised him that he was going to get him next year. And he promised Real Sociedad that he was going to give them a year in the Champions League because they'd never been there that often. So he promised them that. Unfortunately, he's watching the lay of the land and he's gone, hang on a minute, Xavi's not at Barcelona anymore. Am I going to be an interest anymore? And Barcelona have already played their cards now by signing Olmo. So he knows, I'm not going to Barcelona. He's already turned down those clubs, hoping that he'll go to Barcelona. Barcelona's now played their card by signing Olmo. He's now sat there going, am I going to get another chance? Liverpool have just picked the perfect time. Like, seriously. As soon as Olmo got transferred, I can guarantee Hughes is on a plane. And he's like that. Come on then, mate. Come on then. You're the highest value you're ever going to be. The stock on you is insane. You're our man, left-hand side. And the first thing he's done, Zubimendi, has rang his hero, Xabi Alonso, and Xabi Alonso's probably gone, mate, go to Liverpool. Like, you'll be a living legend. And that's all we're doing now. We're literally just waiting. Like, we are just waiting for that contract to get sorted out.
I would
Charm
like
offensive.
Charm offensive.
What does charm offensive mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, he's been offered double the wages. Nothing. Yeah. Like, he was in training today, and that's it. So what? He was in training today. Big deal.
Well, if reports are true, if the reports are true that he is amenable to the idea of playing in the Premier League, what better club to play at? Like, from a Champions League point of view, I made a mistake yesterday. I said Premier League was saying no other club in England can give him the Champions League history. We can, of winning it that many times. And Liverpool are really the big European name in places like Italy and Spain. It isn't Man U or Chelsea because they just haven't won it enough times, or in recent memory either. You know what I mean? So there you go.
I really hope I kind of sewed that up as like a
nice paella, maybe.
Yeah. But it's one day. Like, it's literally one day.
Well, I said this last night, K-Mac, what you were saying there.
F all, mate. Nobody knows F all now. All they know is what Liverpool briefed them, and that is it. Like, that is it. Like, Liverpool aren't letting anybody know about this guy. Like when he signed, he signed. It's done. Like it could be announced in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Seriously, we are so good at this stuff now. We've got Edwards back. Edwards, come on.
That's what I was saying last night, came out. That's why I got a little bit giddy about it, because I was saying you only hear about our stories. Yep. They only get out when they're on deals, basically. You don't hear about them 2 weeks in advance. So I thought, yeah, look, we're kind of right on the verge of doing this. Okay, this little thing comes out today. It's a little bit different. You know, slows it up a little bit. But that's what I was saying last night. Like, we don't hear about this stuff unless it's right there at the end point. That's when it gets out. And it's because of what you're saying. It's gotten to the point where it's so close that if it's about to get out, so you give it to your guy that you want to get it out, be that Ornstein or whoever. But what you were saying there, I think it would have been, I was just joking around last night. I think it would be so funny if us getting him having turned Arsenal down, doesn't just mean we get him. It also means we stop Arsenal getting Marino. That would be absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that would be cherry on top. That would be so cool.
Well, look, they show football on telly an awful lot in Spain. It's very popular football in Spain. And we've been in 3 Champions League finals in 5 years, twice against Real Madrid. Zubimendi's probably got a telly and isn't seeing that, like. But he ain't seen Arsenal in no Champions League final, mate.
He's watched Alonso score that penalty 1,000 times, man. That fun. He's watched that Alonso moment millions of times.
The thing about it as well, the thing about it is, I know we're all excited about Zubimendi, but Jesus Christ, guys, you want to be more excited about the guy we're going to sign after him. Because we're not messing around. Like, Romano's already said it. Liverpool are not messing around. Like, we are getting more players, and there are some unbelievable players that we're now talking to as well. Like, don't be surprised if someone pops up from Italy. Don't be surprised if there's another person that maybe comes in from Spain. Like, seriously, we're not joking around now. Like, Slot's assessed his team, and he knows it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Like Konate is not going to be at Liverpool after this summer. I'm telling you. Konate out.
What if we got an injury to Virgil van Dijk? Imagine if we got an injury to Virgil van Dijk, Kev.
Well,
the season, a bad one, that kept him out months. We'd be screwed, mate. Because Ebu's fit.
Let's not imagine that. But like it is. Let's not imagine it.
We'd be
but again, that's true. But again, the centre back we could be potentially getting could be the replacement for VVD. This could be his last season at Liverpool.
You know who we're talking about, but we're not going to say that name.
Yeah,
I will. Yeah. Bastone. If we bring in Bastone, oh man, we were seriously.
Yeah, can I just say in terms of sorry, Brian.
How about this?
No,
I'd rather us bring in. Go ahead, Nalate.
Yeah, sorry. All I was going to say, just to kind of solidify before you guys move on the next topic with Subi, if we do get him, because as he came back, obviously I've always said our squad is too full and we need to get rid of players. So if Subi's coming in, my thing is this: then Endo, all right, if he stays another season, then Bacic, he goes out on loan, and then next season Endo leaves. Unless we get a suitable offer for Endo, then that should be the key. Because the good thing is, if we get Subi, he's 25, and Bachet, he's 19. And the good thing is, if we can get rid of Endo, whether it's this season or next season, then he won't disrupt his progress. We're going to have 2 world-class in the future DMs in the role. So, yeah.
That's perfect. I was just going to say that personally, I rather see Bastoni come to the club than Zubimendi. To be honest with you, not saying I don't want to see Zubimendi come to the club, but I would have. I would like both of them to come. Yeah, absolutely. Bastoni was on. Trust us, when we did our sporting director little mock play, that was Bastoni was on both of our lists on the Irishman's list. That was the captain for the chat, and on my list, Bastoni is a very big name I would love to have on this left-footed. He's possibly the best left-footed center back in the world right now. You know
who loves Bastoni and has done for many years?
Me.
Michael Edwards. Michael Edwards. Michael Edwards is a massive fan of Bastoni.
Oh yes, yeah, that's been out there. Yeah, that's been reported.
And if you don't think we could get Bastoni, guess who played in the Inter Milan team? Our director of football.
No, Bastoni would be an amazing acquisition.
Bastoni,
would you rather
Bastoni
have?
Isn't from Inter Milan's youth team. Everybody seems to think Bastoni is from Inter Milan's youth team. He's not. He's from Atalanta. He's got no allegiance to Inter Milan apart from he plays for them.
What I was going to ask is like,
yeah.
What I was going to ask is, I know that I think all of us probably would rather see Bastoni than Hincapié, but Hincapié is a name out there.
Hincapié is really good as well, though.
He's really good as well.
He's got pace, hasn't he?
But Hincapié is a name that's been reported as a target for us as well.
He wants to leave. Hincapié wants to leave. He said he wants to leave.
Right.
Because he's not been given enough opportunities. So he wants to leave.
He's a left-footed, isn't he, Hincapié?
Yeah. He can also play left midfield, by the way.
That's what I want. I want a centre half that can play left back as well for that side.
Well, he's your man. He's your man.
In defensive options.
The thing about that as well. The thing about that as well is, I said it on my show earlier, is Richard Hughes has actually told us, like he's already told us in press conferences what he's going to do, but people don't seem to read between the lines. And he said, we're going to wait until the Euros, the Olympics, and the Copa America are over. He said all three. Well, why is that? Why is he waiting for all three to be over? Well, you've got the Euros that have just finished. Zubimendi's just come back. Yeah. Not Hincapié. Zubimendi's just come back. And then you've got the likes of another guy that we're linked with, Inacio, who's just come back. Okay. So those players are now back. Okay. So maybe we can talk to them. Then you've got Copa America. Hincapié is now back. So now he can talk to him. And then you've got the Olympics. Well, the Olympics isn't over yet. And Lubeka is at the Olympics. And he's another player that we've looked at for a long time. You have to look at who we scouted before Slot even came in the door. Lubeka was one. Hincapié's been one. Inacio's been one. Bastone's been one. Like, these are all people we've looked at extensively for years. And it's now just a case of, well, we need someone now. So they're going to go back to the data. The data doesn't lie. Like the data's worked for Liverpool forever. Like, until it stops working, I stop believing in it. And we should all carry on believing in it until it stops working. And some of the signings we've signed over the years, they've not been data driven. And look what we've got.
I wanted to ask a quick question. This little, before I go into the final topic, I guess I could go into the final topic and then I can relate it to it. I'll bring up the final topic is that Oxlade-Chamberlain is set for a Premier League return. He's not coming to Liverpool. Before he said that. But he is.
Everton. Is he going to Everton?
Yeah, maybe so.
Chelsea. Is he going to Chelsea?
Maybe so. I mean, it is going to be very interesting to see what team is going to actually find a spot for the soon approaching 31-year-old. It's so crazy that he's 31. I
would have thought it was pretty obvious what team he's going to go to.
What Arsenal?
Southampton.
No one said it yet. No one said it yet. They're bonkers. They sign 1 million players.
Oh, Nottingham Forest.
Why not go to Chelsea?
There you go. Yeah, it's the shit Chelsea. They're bonkers. They'll sign anybody. You'll find out on the day after the deadline day. Oh yeah, they signed 7 more players yesterday.
I'm old enough
was one of them.
There you go. He goes to Chelsea as a goalkeeper.
In the first division. And Stoke. Mark Chamberlain. I'm old enough to know. And he played for England, Mark Chamberlain, as well. I'm old enough to remember him. Makes me feel old, that, from his sticker album.
Yeah, I can't believe he's only 31 as well. Was he Trabzonspor?
Yeah.
Something like that. Was he? He was in Turkey, right? Besiktas. Oh, yeah. I knew he was in Turkey anyway, yeah.
And he's only made 13 appearances.
Yeah, no doubt.
And he only made 13 appearances in his last year for us at least. But you know, he has featured for the Turkish squad from time to time. But now they are reviewing the options for him to make an exit. This is being reported by The Athletic too. It's not like this is like some you know random.
What did he go to over there?
Besiktas.
Yes.
It's not a good scene for black players. There's been problems over there many times. Like Kevin Campbell had problems.
Yeah. Turkey is not an easy place to play.
No, it's not.
Currently,
it's rather close to places that could be at war with each other soon. I'd probably want to get out of there as well.
Yeah. Especially when they have pitch invasions and stuff like that, and you know,
be out of there.
Like,
well, if I was a journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, I definitely would have got out of there.
Yeah. But what I was going to ask is this: there was something that I saw on, I think it was on Mont's show, and it was kind of interesting. It kind of piqued my interest because I know, like, it seems like this is something that the Irishman has spoken on, and it's something I can relate to because, you know, it's one thing for you to talk trash about our players when we're amongst other Reds, but it's another thing to talk trash on our players when you're in other confines of your rivals. On this show, Mons wasn't doing that per se, but on this show, Mons went up against one of the Spurs. He went up against one of the Spurs commentators, and in the question of what I'm going to bring up is the Spurs supporter said that Spurs have better wingers than Liverpool.
Well, they've got wingers. They've got wingers for a start.
Yes. Do you think that the Spurs have better players in their wingers than Liverpool? I'll go around the horn on this one. I'll go to K-Mac first, and then we can go to Lee, Irishman, and then we'll end with Milante.
So
I just want to hear your opinions.
Okay, so on one side, I would say, I can't even pronounce his name. Who's the Swedish lad? What's his name? Is he Swedish? Kulusevski. I can't say that word. Kulusevski. I can't even say that word. Kulusevski.
Yeah.
I've said it wrong again. Doesn't matter.
You better hope we don't get
Dejan.
Dejan. Is he left or right-sided?
He's right.
He can play both sides.
Okay,
so he's better than Diaz and he's better than Hakpo for me.
But he plays on the right. He plays on the right though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like Salah. Salah.
Not better than.
Because was it Ben? Was Ben Johnson? Is it Ben Johnson?
Brendan Johnson.
Brendan Johnson. I'm thinking about Ben Johnson's the sprinter.
Kulusevski. He's a better winger than Diaz and Hakpo for me, but not Salah. But if we played him on the left, if he play on the left, then he's a better winger. So they've got one really good winger for me. But the others, no.
And I mean, I know that someone would say then Son is on the left,
winger,
technically, but he's no longer on the wing.
He's in my winger list. He plays on the wing for them. He plays wide for them all the time. If you're talking about us having wingers, they play 4-3-3. Talking about us having wingers, Son has to be on the list. Has to be.
If you're playing him as a winger, Son, then yeah, he's better than those two as well. But he's not better than Salah.
Son played left exclusively for the longest time. Mike Cain was there, but then when Cain left and Richarlison was not always available, he played centrally. But I
the only time he ever played central
on his right foot. I think he's excellent coming in on his right foot from the left, like. But he is advancing in years, although he's still very physically fit. You can see.
Yeah.
Did
they have anyone else? Who else did they mention? Did they mention anyone we've forgotten? Kulusevski.
I'm going to bring up
Brennan Johnson.
They play Richarlison and they play
Madison doesn't count.
They have Son, Richarlison, Brennan Johnson, Solomon, Devine.
Oh yeah, Solomon. Yeah,
Solomon. Forgot about it.
Oh, they got from Fulham.
Yeah, rubbish.
So
they got a lot of trash.
Do they not have some young kid? No. Do they not have some young kid that's really good at it? No.
So they've got Son.
And I guess you could say
they've got
Timo Werner sometimes plays up there too, I guess. You want to
Yeah.
throw him in there?
You're making it
I'm
worse.
not sure if you. Yeah, exactly. I think you're making it worse with adding him in. Yeah. No. Don't mention Timo. Don't mention Timo.
Timo
Don't put him in your
that's
place.
the party.
I'd rather play you Doggy there. You'd probably score more goals.
We talk about Lucas Bergvall, maybe.
Bergvall, that's who I was
He's
trying to
nothing,
think
he's a
of.
kid.
Yeah, the guy that got from
18-year-old.
Holland. Yeah, I knew they had a kid. I knew there was a kid. Bergvall. That's the. And they're buying a guy that will come in this season. Is the guy that Real Madrid wanted, that they're getting from Norway or Sweden or someone.
Mm-hmm.
They got a deal done for him. They did it last season. He's like the new Scandinavian Messi, basically, whoever this kid is.
That's not Bergvall. You sure that's not him?
They've got to retire.
No.
They've got to retire that. They
do have to retire. Yeah.
They can't.
Maybe.
I mean, like, it's so crazy when you hear it. Like the Polish Messi, the Scandinavian Messi, the Turkish Messi. It's like, give it a rest.
There's just none. There's no others. Stop.
There's just a Messi.
There's no others.
Yeah, there's just Messi.
It's
That's
just one.
Yeah.
The guy's still playing. Like, leave him alone.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? But
So if that's their pool to pick from, then I
that's
just want
their
to
pool to pick
clarify that. And our pool would be Salah, Diaz, Gakpo. What would that be? It? I don't really think we have any other specialist wingers after that. Doak doesn't count. Sabasai doesn't count. Darwin doesn't count.
I mean, I think
Elliot doesn't count.
Better winger.
They were throwing in the argument. They threw in Diego, but
yeah,
I mean, I think Szoboszlai is probably a better winger than any of theirs apart from Son. Like so, and he's not even being played as a winger for us.
Szoboszlai is like a better version of that Kulusevski. They're very similar in stature. They're not like out and out wide men, but they play. They're very tricky. Kulusevski is a quality player, but he's not going to burst past you down the line and whip balls in. But
no, he's he's a bit more finesse, Kulusevski.
But when you look at him, he's about 6'2" and about 16 stone. He's massive. Like Szoboszlai, he's a big guy. Not like Doak. Like say the opposite, like Ben Doak, proper old school, tricky little winger guy. These guys now, they're wingers, but they're 6'2". Yeah. See, our winger pool. I don't know. Would anyone agree with that? Would that be our only wingers? Would be Diaz?
I mean, the only reason why I think you could possibly include Diego. I understand Diego is a 9 for us now, but he was a left winger initially when he
throw him in.
And it's very similar to how Stun has been transitioned from left winger to their forward position.
No, throw him in, definitely. I'd have no objections to throwing him into the pool.
Do you know who I used to love as a left winger? Vicente, that played for Rafa Benitez's Valencia. He was on the right-hand side. And
Joaquin and Vicente. Aymar in the middle. Alvelde and Morata in midfield.
You know what I would have loved as a winger for us? Do you remember that Portuguese guy that always scored against us?
Simao. Oh, we were linked with him for about 10 years.
Yeah, God, I can't.
Benfica. Every single summer, we're buying him.
He was.
Oh, God, underrated he was.
Yeah,
just get him so he'd stop scoring against us.
Yeah.
I think that the only reason one of the reasons why I was bringing that up is because I heard the argument, and the Spurs guy was really. And I don't. He's one of the more notable Spurs people that I see on the panel. Sorry, I don't know his name. Probably doesn't know my name either. So, but he was so intimate about saying how he took it to another level. Like he was not only saying that we have like our forwards, our wingers aren't as well. That we got to learn our place as Liverpool. That we're going to be competing with Tottenham for top 4, not with Arsenal and City. He just went all in, and I was just like, "Jeez, man!"
You did remember that they finished I think it was 18 points behind us.
Exactly. That's where I was like, "I'm like, where are you going with this, man?" It was funny. It was funny.
And I also did remember that we absolutely took them at Anfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. And if it
backed
wasn't
them
for
in that
VAR, if they didn't have the 12th man of being VAR on their team, we could have possibly won, if not at least drew.
with 9 men.
Yeah.
Yeah, Benfica took care of us quite well when we were defending champions in 2005.
Yeah, back then they did, didn't they?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, with the 2-0 to beat us.
2-0 at Anfield.
The reason why I said
Yeah,
it, yeah.
I remember that game. Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll tell you a crazy stat about a Tottenham player, which will make you laugh. If Harry Kane had have stayed at Norwich, he'd have won more trophies.
Wow.
He'd have won 3. He'd have won 3 cups.
Oh, you know what, man? You know Harry Kane. I actually.
Sorry.
You know what, Harry Kane, I feel for him, to be honest, man. Oh my god, the things with Harry Kane, if he was in our lineup, oh my god, we'd be cooking.
Yeah,
we would be cooking.
Like 12 years, isn't it? Since Klopp was at Dortmund. The first time Bayern Munich have not won the league since Klopp was Dortmund's manager.
I know.
For him to go there this season was just. I did feel a bit sorry for him because I do like him in a way. Harry's okay.
Yeah, I do as well. Oh yeah, me too.
Is he? And I wish him well in the future. He'll get it this year. He'll win the league.
Yeah,
I'm saying that.
But he went.
I'm not sure.
He went last season. He went 47 goal involvements in 40 games.
Cooking.
Like, he outscored. He scored at a higher rate than Lewandowski.
He did his bit.
Yeah. He outscored a higher rate than Lewandowski ever did for Bayern. Now, so it was the rest of the team. So in any other year, but that guy, that's insane numbers. Like, you put him in that Liverpool team for 2 years.
Yeah.
Him at his peak.
Yeah,
we're winning stuff.
Yeah, Champions League leads. Yeah, oh my god, we'd have been cooking. Kane in that middle, them through balls, them lights coming out to play as a 10. Oh no, man, honestly.
I'm gonna ask then 2 questions then. One, I think the winger debate thing I just brought up, I think is a silly argument. I think that only one of their players would get into our.
Yeah, who would you take? I'd take Son over Diaz.
Son.
Yeah,
I love Diaz, but I would take Son.
I'd take Son over everyone apart from Salah. Son's just super clinical, really hard.
Son is an amazing goal scorer.
Really good player.
Tied with the golden boot for Salah, the only guy that ever did it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, tied with Mane and Salah, or tied with Salah anyway.
He's always there as well. He's always there in the top 5.
Yeah. He's
but reverse it and think of how many but our players getting into Spurs lineup. I think almost every player would get into their lineup. Could get into their lineup. Diaz would start for left wing for them. I think Cody would start at left wing for them.
Not over
Romero. I'd rather have Romero than Konate.
Oh no, I meant just forwards. I'm just talking about the forwards.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, forward.
You know a player who I liked before he came to Tottenham, but I wasn't shocked, but I was quite surprised that he was so poor. Was Roberto Soldado, the Valencia forward that came over? Remember Roberto Soldado? He was teared over there, but he was such a good striker in Spain.
We
had the same with Morientes. We had the same with Morientes, didn't we?
Yeah. Save that for the overrated shit, by the way.
Sometimes it doesn't work.
But yeah, that's my point. I think that Diego, Cody, Diaz. I think even Nunez could possibly start for them, depending on it's just being
starting him over Richarlison. Maybe if you were starting,
I would start Nunez over Richarlison.
Yeah, if you were starting for them, Sonny on the left, right?
Yeah,
Richarlison in the middle, and Kulusevski on the right.
Mm-hmm.
That was their 3. I'd start Sonny on the left. I'd probably start Diaz over Richarlison.
Or Diego. Or Diego. You can start I'd start Diego over Richarlison.
Yeah. Richarlison, when he's in a good vein of form, as much as everything like that.
He can score 1 or 2 goals in a season.
They'll like him, don't he? He plays quite a lot of Brazil when he's fit, doesn't he? But he was doing it anyway.
Sneak preview. Someone might be on my list. that you're talking about.
Yeah. About the overrated. Yeah, tell me about it. Because I mean, like, yeah. I mean, I think wasn't it wasn't until he scored that goal against us. That was like his first goal for Spurs, I think, or something like that. When he scored that goal, and Diego said, "Hold my beer."
Don't you remember that stat? That tweet that came up that Alisson had scored more goals that season.
That's horrible.
He scored the same amount of goals.
That is flat out horrible. Oh man. How about this real quick question too? Do you take Bayern Munich winning the Bundesliga, or would you take the field? I'll start in the latte for that one. How about that? And then we'll go reverse round order. Since we're just talking about Bayern Munich, do you take Bayern Munich or do you take the field? Meaning, like, you know, any player from any team.
I was waiting for someone else to.
I don't know what.
Oh, that's what the field means. Like you take any the rest of the league. So it's like either Bayern Munich or the league, or any other team other than Bayern Munich. That's what the field means. So when you're like playing craps.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, now you get it.
So,
you always take Bayern Munich, don't you? They've got a ridiculous record, haven't they? I don't think they'll win it this season, by the way, because I think
that's the question. I mean, like, yeah, do you take Bayern Munich or do you take the? There's not many years. There's not many times that Bayern Munich have not won the league and then not come back to win the league.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure they'll get it this year either.
So you're taking the field, I guess. You're taking the field, I guess.
The field.
Are you taking the field, Lee, or are you taking Bayern Munich to win?
I'll take the field.
Okay. Irishman, you taking the field, or you're taking Bayern Munich to win? You got Harry Kane, got all these players coming back with a heavy burden on their shoulders. They're unloading extra weight. I don't know what's going on with the Ligt, for instance, or whatever. You know, they're trying to bring in all these like center backs to reassure themselves in their back line.
I'm going to back Dortmund to snatch their first Bundesliga in 13 seasons.
Okay.
Because their CL final appearance might boost them, and that should boost them. It boosted us. We won the league the following season after getting to the. We won the Champions League, didn't we, the year after, and then won the league after getting to the final. That was the catalyst, though, getting to that final with Real and Kelleher was the catalyst for us to go on. And Dortmund could do that if they buy the right players or whatever they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. If they sold,
I mean, everyone's just overlooking. I mean, Leverkusen still got the same team.
Yeah, Leverkusen for me all day long. Sorry.
You know, like
Sabi's got another year under his belt as well. Like,
yeah, have another year on his belt. Have like you know, he's still got some of his like prime players in the fold.
He's not sold anyone.
So is it Bayern Munich for you, Irishman? Or
if they can keep the things that they need, it's going to be you see, when you said at the start, I didn't know the expression either. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, like basically, were you saying like, would you want them to win it or would you want someone else? But what you mean is like if you were putting money on it,
right? Yeah. So
if I was putting money on it, the chances of Leverkusen doing twice in a year or twice in a row, I don't know. The smart money would be on Bayern.
Right, yeah, they're the odds favorite right now. They're still the odds favorite to win. I was just wondering.
I'd be thinking Leverkusen would be a little bit distracted by maybe they're trying to do stuff in the Champions League or something. I don't know. It's football. Who knows? Like, but if they keep, you know, just one or if they don't lose Wirtz, which I don't think they're going to, they keep that guy at the back that they want to keep. They're happy to lose in Hincape, apparently. They don't want to lose the other guy. I've forgotten his name. Get it right. But yeah, it's a stretch to think they'll do it twice. But Bayern, Company is a huge gamble. You know, like
that would be a huge statement for him. That'd be a huge statement for Company to come into Bayern, even though I understand it's Bayern Munich. It'd be a huge statement for him to have gone from bringing a team from relegation to promotion to watching the team go back to relegation. If you go to a bigger club to go win the league, you know, that's a big.
Well, if you move the profile across, it should work because what you're saying is basically, Burnley were the most dominant team in a league. They're expected to beat everybody every week and play really good football, really attractive football. which is what I was saying Company was doing all the time. And dominating. They did that with a team. He's shown that he can, in a team that should dominate, he will win every game and score a load of goals. And you can transfer that to another league, which, if you say the Bundesliga, they're the dominant team. They should beat everybody most weeks. He comes in. He's a bit of a statesman. It should be transferable. You know, he's not going to be trying to fight and battle for things in the Bundesliga with a Dortmund or a Liverpool and get him back to the top. So it's kind of shown that if he's handed the most powerful team in the league with the most money and the best players, he will dominate that league. So can you transfer that to the Bundesliga? That's what they're talking about, profile. They're talking about profile. He fits that profile as much as he shouldn't. That's why he does. Because this is the new era now of guys that are younger than us getting hired for Premier League clubs, getting hired to run entire operations that are in their late 30s.
Yeah,
you know, it's not about the Hiddinks and the Mourinhos and the Rafas and the overcoat managers. It's all about these kind of guys now. So it will be really interesting what happens in the Bundesliga next year. I would love to see Liverpool. Jeez, I'd love to see him do it again. That would be fantastic for Alonso. Oh, that would be brilliant. It really would. Keep that core of good young players. Keep Real Madrid from the door for 1 year. Like those Leverkusen supporters, like don't let it be just one flash in the pan. You know, because 2 years would be too long. He will then go somewhere, and when he goes, you know, the house comes with him. Wirtz will go to Madrid for 100 million. Did they lose that striker? Did everybody Bonaventure? He stayed, right?
Yeah,
he was kind of there.
Stayed. They haven't sold anyone.
I thought, did they not lose the centre half?
Boniface. No, Tar's not gone either.
Oh, I thought he was gone to Munich.
No, they
I
can't.
thought Tar went.
Bayern Munich.
Well,
Bayern Munich
you know what? They're waiting on. They're waiting on that.
They can't get rid of Delict.
Yeah,
I see.
exactly.
Right. Domino job. Another domino job.
Can I give you an update on Zubimendi, by the way? Do you want a live update?
Go for it.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
Okay, so the guy that's basically been leaking a lot of information, his name is Gipuzkoa. He's from an outlet in the Basque region. So he's basically said the Spanish international is said to be a sea of doubts as he travels to Berlin for La Real's friendly with Union on Friday. It is claimed that Zubimendi had been quite clear that he wanted to move to Anfield on Wednesday, 24 hours ago. However, it's now reported that he's continuing to think about it. From his club's point of view, they are said to have activated a plan on how to stop Zubimendi from leaving. They can't. He's got a release clause. They can't. Much to this method, it is reportedly based on affection, but they are trying to persuade the player that they can build a team to compete at the top level too. They can't compete at the top level. That's bullshit.
No.
The most money they've ever made in their entire history was last season because of the Champions League.
Yeah.
They haven't got the money to spend. Anyway, in terms of Liverpool, it's claimed that Zubimendi is attracted to the idea of following in Xabi Alonso's footsteps, with Alonso said to be a constant source of advice to the player, telling you we're using our old heads to get this one done, which is clever, by the way. Perhaps crucially, some of Zubimendi's advisors are also said to be telling the Euro 2024 winner, do not miss the train. Liverpool is the best place for you to go right now. Although that message itself is clear, there is supposedly no answer either way from Zubimendi himself. Liverpool are waiting to hear which way he decides. It's down to him. Like at the end of the day, it's always down to the player.
There is one other
thinking
update.
About it.
Yeah, there's another. I did see another update from Ivan Swakov, right? He's on Twitter. He usually has some really decent credibility. He says representatives of Martin Zubimendi were set for him to complete his move to LFC after a phone call last night with the manager and a PowerPoint presentation meeting scheduled this morning put doubts into his head. LFC are still confident this deal can get done, though. That's what basically he's saying on his.
This isn't about money. This is the thing about this player.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing. And this is the hardest thing about getting players who are irreplaceable and unmovable out of clubs, they're not motivated by money. They're just not motivated by the money. Like, and at the end of the day, they're the kind of guys you want at your club.
It's going to be a football decision.
Money doesn't hurt, though. The money doesn't hurt. Let's be honest.
I know, but and think about it as well. But like Zubimendi, like this is going to be his biggest contract he's ever going to get. Like this is going to be his biggest chance on the big stage. Like kicking it at a legendary club at Liverpool.
When we bought him, wasn't he? Xabi Alonso was quite a bit younger, 22, wasn't he, when we bought him?
He was 23, was he? 23?
Yeah, 22. Yeah, he was 22. Yeah, 22. Yeah.
He's only 26 when he left, Alonso. I think.
26, 20. Yeah, 26, 20 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I've also got an update on Konate. If you want to hear this, this is hilarious, by the way. So I know I told you about the Konate thing, but this is now being mentioned around. Konate has got an uncertain future at Liverpool because Arne Slot is very unimpressed with his levels in training and in match play. It's another Sacco. I'm sorry. It's another Sacco.
That's a bit harsh, T-Mac. I don't think he's that bad. I did have a stinker the other day but I don't think he's Sacco. Yeah. No, he's got more pace than Sacco. He's more controlled.
Yeah, Malati, I also don't think that's not his game. His game isn't like pinpoint passes and everything else. His game is more, you rely on more defensive measures than you are.
He doesn't mean it like that.
Defense, then, are you? You're thinking of playing an only slot defense.
How many games he's missed? He's probably looked at how many games he's missed.
Yeah, the injury, yeah. Yeah.
It was a bit. The whole France Euro thing was a bit weird as well, wasn't it? Because he wasn't actually physically injured.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Had,
yeah,
like, a cold or something, didn't he?
He didn't even come on.
And he ducked out of like the first games, and then
he needs to wear a scarf, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's the truth. I think that what everyone's saying here as well. In the Euros was class, never wanted him at Sociedad. Youssef is saying, what I was going to say is like, if anything Alonso can say to him is that you could be a great player at Real Sociedad. You could be a very great player, possibly a Real Sociedad legend, but you could be a world legend at Liverpool. There's a big difference. Like, guys, and the things that you could do at Liverpool are going to far exceed the opportunities you'll see at Liverpool are going to far exceed those that you'll see at Real Sociedad. All due respect, but Real Sociedad is not anywhere near close to challenging for La Liga. They're not anywhere near close to, obviously, them getting into the Champions League was a blessing for them last year. They've somewhat migrated back to their level, I guess you could say, which is Europa.
Unless, like I said earlier on, unless he's one of those guys, those rare guys that would rather spend their career at a level like that and to have represented, because we know like these are Basque region guys, very their way of thinking about can be very strong. So if he is one of those rare guys that it just breaks his heart to leave his club, okay, move on. But it looks like he was ready to do it. It's I could see him definitely being one of those guys who could never play for another Spanish team. He would only ever play for Sociedad. He's one of those
that's not true. His dream was to play for Barcelona. Fair play. He was going to Barcelona if Xabi was still there because Xabi wanted him.
That's fair enough.
That's fair enough then. But I don't think
Barca messed up. Don't know how they didn't get him in the door. Would have been perfect for their style of play.
I agree. If we get him, Arsenal seriously drop the ball. Like seriously, they were calling for months and months.
But the thing about it is, though, like if Barcelona was his dream, because they could have done that, they're bringing in Olmo. That was about the same amount of money.
I know Olmo. They don't even really need it.
Comments. Have you read his comments?
No, I was going to bring up this one. Honestly saying latest news. Liverpool also made an inquiry about Bruno Guimaraes. And those close to player are yet to rule out late window drama, even though the midfielder has said he is happy at Newcastle.
He's the one. Like he is the number one player to fit into a slot team in that position.
We missed the boat on him.
Think of a better player.
Yeah, I think we missed the
boat
on
him.
To go there. Like wow.
Yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
120 maybe.
Liverpool just like this. This is the difference, by the way. This is the difference. These are A+ players. These are A+ players we're all linked with now. No nobodies. Like the Ben Jacobs. Oh God, he doesn't have a clue. If you read that comment by Ben Jacobs, it's basically what's been talked about for the last 2 days, just worded differently. Optimism.
Oh, it's a lot of the tweets are definitely just
clickbait. Seriously,
moved around to get some clickbait. I like Honestly's idea that maybe we do need to get a PowerPoint presentation set up for Trent Alexander-Arnold too, probably. That would be good. That would be good. Yeah. Ben Jacobs got his journalism license out of a cereal box.
Seriously, mate.
Snuff says, okay. That's funny. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about before we end this segment here? We're coming up on the 2-hour mark here of the show. I'm gonna get off, guys. All right. Brilliant being on, and definitely. Hopefully you'll be available for the overrated. Yes, you get to make sure you have that.
Yeah, let me know.
Be sure to send that list in, by the way. Send it so I can get the graphics for your players.
Right, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that, okay.
So I'm gonna have all the pictures.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith. It's literally been a day.
Faith. Yes, exactly. It's only a day. It's only a day.
It's only just gone over 24 hours, I think. Okay, keep the faith.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Big up, K-Mac. And there was 4. So now there's anything else you guys want to talk about before we bounce out here? Let people hopefully walk off with a little bit of.
Ask the people in the chat what centre halves they want.
Big up
ones they want.
Oh yeah.
Choice like Gahey, Inacio, Bastoni, Hincapié. Anyone you want to mention, you know what I mean? Schlosser.
To the chat real quick. Yeah, to the chat real quick. Considering, we've had the news about Zubimendi at DM. We've also had the news that I mentioned about Bastoni, about Hincapié. If we're going to make a move for center back, who is your center back of choice that you want to bring in? Who is your center back of choice? We all know that our DM of choice obviously is, Zubimendi for a lot of us, trying to get that deal done and dusted. But who is your center back of choice that you would like to see brought into the club? I'll ask the panel as well, but who is the center back you'd most like to see join the club? Honesty is just said Inacio. That's interesting. Okay.
I'm still a big Inacio fan.
How about Nolante? Do you have the choice real quick to answer Lee's question before we push off? Is there a center back out there?
Not really. All the other names, realistic targets, really. Not my fantasy, but all the same names, really. Any one of those, yeah, I'll be fine with.
Mm-hmm. So Hincapié doesn't matter. Inacio. Okay. How about for you, Irishman?
Mark Gahey cost an astronomical sum after the Euros, I think. So, like, if we wanted to pay around 45, we'd be looking at Hincapié or Inacio, wouldn't we? Possibly.
Yeah, we're not paying Crystal Palace's price for him. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
It'll be beyond our means. That it'll be up around 100, no doubt.
How about for you, Irishman? I think I know your answer.
Yeah, number 1, Bastoni.
Yeah, Bastoni.
Yeah. Oh, the huge. Just because it's such a statement signing as well as anything else. Mm-hmm. If you're going to bring in, if it's like Lee is saying, oh, I don't mind any of the four of them. It's like, right, well, if it is going to be any of the four of them, go and get the one that, like I said, makes the biggest statement. If he's as good as everybody else, you don't just do it because of that, but you make the one, you go and get the one that everyone looks at and goes, oh, wow, okay, well, they're really serious. They haven't just gone out and gone some guy that, you know, a few people have heard of or whatever, all the fans have heard of. You've gone out and gotten a really big time player,
right?
Gotten to join, you know, our project. It, like I said, bringing these two boys in is there's a residual to that kind of shows people that people are buying into the Arne Slot project, and basically the biggest optics of it all, and we can't really avoid this, is that this, if none of these deals have been done, but a big part of this is to show that the fact that Klopp has left hasn't affected our ability to sign top players.
That's a very valid point right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there saying Klopp is
there's
gone.
A lot of people, saying
they
that
can't get top players now.
Without Klopp, we can't kick. We can't.
You know, we just come off the back of a successful period.
That's bold.
You know, I think that's why sometimes it's like when they talk about these big businesses or these big owners, like they won't spend money until they drop out of the Champions League, because they know that's when you need to spend the money to get back in, because you're losing money then. I think they know now that they're in a bit of a we need to re-up ourselves kind of moment to prove that it's Klopp is gone, they can't attract anybody. No, look at the kind of player we can get, and kind of reset that narrative a little bit.
There is a question from the chat real quick. I'll entertain this question because it's an interesting question. Bayern told Davies, you will be sold. He is worth 50 million, but teams can get him for 30. Would you guys buy him and sell? Oh, well, you're going to make us have to sell people too. I didn't read that part of this question. Would you guys buy him and sell Tsimikas, or would you sell possibly even Robbo to make it happen? Irishman, let you go first since you were just speaking. Then we'll go to
I would, I would sell. If you basically told me we're going to swap Costas for Davies, of course I would.
Yeah, you get max, maybe a max would be like 20 million for some.
Yeah, so if it was him plus a few quid, if it was Costas plus 10 million, and you mean we're upgrading to Davies, keep Robbo. Yeah, take that all day. Davies is a serious player.
Nolante, you making that deal?
Oh yeah, Echo Brian. Oh yeah. And the thing is with Davies, he can even get better defensively. So at his age, 23, mate, we can mold him and smooth into an all-round beast. So yeah.
Lee.
Yeah, I like
Alfonso.
Yeah, I like Alfonso. If he was available for 30, and we could somehow get our money back to Costas, like around 9-10 million, that'd be a third of it, wouldn't it? That's a deal I'd do. Yeah.
Even with the knowledge or thought that he's like interested in, he's got that Real Madrid as his like final destination, you'd still go in?
Well, that's up to him. If they don't come in for him, like and Bayern want to cash in, then it'd be interesting. Put it that way, it'd be interesting if he really was available for 30. And I think we'd be a club maybe that he'd consider if Real aren't going to buy him, like, and he can't go there.
Yeah, that was the drama this summer, wasn't it? He thought he was going to go. He refused the contract, and like he's fallen out with them kind of stuff over what appears to be a failed move.
I'll tell you what, too. I think that
he'd also want big money. He would want.
That's the thing about leaving Bayern, mate. They're all on a mint of Bayern. You leave Bayern,
massive contracts.
Go to the right club to get your wages.
Yeah, they're all on massive contracts. And what I was going to add about that is that, like, this is no shade, but let's be honest. Canada had a decent performance in Copa, but Davies did not.
Yeah, he's average.
His head is all over the place, man.
He's average.
He was bare barely average to say anything. He was trying to take he was taking their free kicks. He was trying, he was trying to get involved and be like the
star player syndrome.
Yeah,
star player syndrome. Yeah. That's what it is.
They play him like that guy. It's like David Alaba when he plays for Austria.
Oh,
Takes all the free kicks, take penalties. I mean, you put him.
And it was poor.
I mean, if the question is
corners.
But I mean, if the question is to me, like, would you take Alphonso Davies or Kostas Tsimikas? I'm taking Davies. Yeah, when you start taking all the money into and all of that stuff, look, you're probably not going to do it. But if it was a straight up question of who do you want, Davies or Tsimikas, I'll take Davies. Mm-hmm. I think he's just had he's fallen out with Madrid or fallen out over this move to Madrid. Mm-hmm. All of that. He's definitely been kind of, in one of those, you see players get into it sometimes, transfer disputes, and all of a sudden their career goes wonky and they end up somewhere they didn't want to go. So I hope he doesn't. I hope he gets his head together and just makes a good decision because obviously, look, top quality left back in there somewhere, but very attacking. Not sure you'd be pinning your house on him, to lock down a 1-0 lead with 15 minutes to go. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's that guy. I think he's very much a left winger playing at left back. So, like with the Nouri thing, again, not really a defender. Not someone I think of as a defender first and foremost.
Okay. And don't worry, honesty. I get it. I'm not
yeah. Can't go to the 6-12. Can't go to the 6.
Yeah, man. Nah. I got my Cali Connects. Oh,
yeah.
I'll holler at Kendrick. He'll
take care
of it for me. All due respect to the 6, but yeah. Anyway, that's interesting. We're obviously preparing a eventual move away from Robbo. That's why that's a very interesting question. And obviously with the talks about the Argentine player, the 19-year-old Argentine player that we were.
I think Davies a bit too Hollywood for us to keep up on the California thing. I think Davies a little bit too Hollywood for us, money-wise.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The amount of I guess you could call it pressure, but the amount of like limelight and pressure that you would have to put on, it's different. It's different settings at Bayern Munich than it is at Liverpool under.
He'd want to play too. He'd want to play, wouldn't he? Right, I mean, he's not coming in to do a
platoon job with We'd have to move. We would have to move Robbo, or most likely have to move Robbo, or even Diaz or something like that to make room for him at the left wing. And I'll tell you the truth, like. That's
Gakpo's spot for me, man.
Does that move? Because he is not a dynamic goal scorer or something on that left wing. If your issue with Diaz and moving on from Diaz because of his goal scoring,
Davis, not left wing. You just have to be left back.
Yeah,
he's got that kind of old school Gareth Bale kind of, Gareth Bale when he broke through at Tottenham kind of vibe.
The pace,
pace and crossing and long shots and kind of,
but
not a player to knit things together.
No,
very kind of explosive type of player.
Yeah,
exactly.
Power,
guys just don't want us to leave. We're on the tarmac. The doors opened up a little bit and.
I'm good, man.
Pilots are all out waving and saying hello to the passengers before they go. Keep asking questions.
I just love talking at the end of these streets.
All right, one more question. Do you guys think that we'll see this coming week's players come in and play, players leaving, and who for the big players would shock you if we sell them?
Oh, okay.
That
got interesting at the end.
Yeah, it got interesting. Really at the question. Really
great question, honestly. Yeah, great.
Milante, you want to tackle that one? You're one of the heavy hitters here, so.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Flo. Boom. Still bad from the 6. No, I'm joking.
Right? Yeah, I'm still hanging out. I'm still taking on the 6 there. That's why. You know?
There you go. Well, look, I know we've talked about it all night, so I mean, there'll be something seriously wrong. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going a bit ahead of myself. It'd be this time by next weekend, Zubi's not confirmed. If he's not confirmed by this time next week, then something is up, to be fair. So I expect him to be confirmed in the next week or so. So, in terms defensively, in the coming weeks, we're going to get a defender, that's for sure. And I think for now, those be our two main bits in terms of signings, and then the rest will be really who we're going to sell before we can buy any one basis. In terms of the first team, that's a good question. That is a good question. That's a difficult one. I think I'm gonna go left field. I think an Endo or Jones or Sobosai could be a shock in terms of leaving. In terms of those three, I don't know who one of them three. Tells up front. I don't know. I don't know. For some reason, I got a feeling Diaz might be pushed out.
Okay, that would be a shock.
Yeah, that would be actually.
I don't know where he would go too. I mean, because I don't think Diaz wants Barcelona. We all get that, but I mean, Barcelona can't afford
the money.
Yeah, they don't. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think Diaz might want to go to Barcelona, but I mean, there's no other. I don't think there's any other team on his list that he's like, I'm going to leave here to go to, you know, different place.
Win it off him 5 times what he's on. Then he might prick his ears up.
Yeah.
Do you want me to take it next?
Yes, go ahead. I'm looking at Hynesty's other question. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Meek Mill is not going.
Oh yeah, and the streets knows when to show up. Like typical.
Yeah, streets showing
right
up
at the end.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Just as we're turning the lights out. So do I think that we will see this coming week's players coming? Definitely. I think I can see us bringing in 3 players. I can see us bringing in someone in the Zubimendi position. Hopefully, obviously that guy. Definitely bringing in. Hopefully maybe an Ibu replacement, because I wanted to mention that earlier on. He's not a defender in build-up. That's not what we bought him to do. It's not right to ask him to do it.
Right.
He is not a defender, but he is a front-foot defender. He wants to go and attack things, destroy things, use his pace and his power. So, yeah, that's no surprise that Kwanzaa is now the obvious pick to start over him, because he will probably let you down in that way. So I think, a replacement not only for Matip, but then someone to come in there and then take over his role. So that's at least 2. And then I think we will see, I think the centre half and the DM will get done, and then something else might happen. But I can see us doing 3 players. And then players leaving, but who from the big players would shock you if you said, like, nothing would shock me. Like, I would not be shocked if we sold Diaz. Of course I wouldn't, because there's been talk. Mo, if Saudi went nuts, wouldn't shock me. Surprised, yes. But the one definitely, I was trying to think of one there, like going through the squad, one that would say be the closest thing to be like, hang on, whoa, shock, would be if we let Ali go. If Ali actually, if they came in with a bid for him and we sold him, that would be definitely kind of be shocking, because I wouldn't have seen it coming. The other ones, it's like, it's not going to be like, wow, where did that come from? Yeah, we've seen where it's come from. Mo, okay, we know they want him. So, like, just saying, actually being shocked by it, again, it's football. Never say never. But I think the one, if we were to actually say to name one, would be Ali, because he's too important. So, but I don't know, Rasta Ibu. I'm not sure he's going to be. I don't know if he's going to be Arnie's guy, man. I'm not sure he's Arnie's guy.
Yeah, Bernie, I definitely do need to get some lunch pretty soon. But Lee, do you have an answer for this one? Or I know Lee's on mute, so he might be taking care of getting Lee might be working on his lunch for late dinner. I'll answer then for myself. I could see us possibly seeing. I could see us selling Vandenberg. I could see us possibly selling McConnell, maybe. And I'm not talking about for big money. McConnell will probably be about 8 or 10 million or something like that, around that range. And I could see us possibly getting sale for Endo. If we're going to get a name, it would have to be I could see Diaz would be a shock for me. I know it's not a shock for Brian, but it'll be a shock for me because it would mean that we got 75 million, which is,
well, that would be shocking enough. Yeah,
that would be a shock in itself. Because that would be probably one of the bigger names or bigger price tags to be associated with a player moving from the Prem, whether he's moving to another Prem team or just outside of the Prem. But again, it would be a shock for me for Diaz to move if that was the case, also because it would mean that Barcelona somehow figured out how to get that money all together.
I don't see our major players moving. I think if anyone moves, it'll be Sepp Vandenberg, Owen Beck, and if they move for cash, it'll be players that weren't going to play anyway, that weren't going to feature. Slot will decide.
I think the big move. A big move in would be definitely Gordon, like Roster Crab just mentioned. That would be a big shock to me, only because we already have so many left wingers already, and I don't know what that really says to a Cody or says to a Diaz.
That's what he says.
That deal is dead. That's not happening.
Yeah.
I think that deal's still very much alive. It's just a question of who we need to shift out. I think that's the thing. I think we've already kind of reiterated our interest and it's still there. And Gordon is desperate. He wants to move. So, I mean, I don't think we need him. I don't think he's the what's the word? The needle mover in the squad. But I think we want it. And if we want to push it, we'll get him, bro. That's my opinion.
I think Ibu would be a somewhat, even though I know I was that was one of the first names I put on my list, and I know I was alone for a while on the Ibu. Might have to be an expendable name on our list.
You're never alone on that bus, too. Come on.
Yeah.
He was not a popular player. Yeah.
Oh, I saw a lot of pushback on that. I was called.
I know,
crazy.
but you'll see it. But I'm not saying you're never the only person on anything. We've never been the only people to say anything. A lot of people didn't want him after 5 minutes. It was like that guy's injury prone.
Oh, I did not see those. I didn't see those.
Well, I mean, we can't read, and I know. I mean, I can't. But I'm just saying, it's been out there. It's not like I've always had my reservations about the guy, just in terms of basically. I mean, what good are you if you're not on the pitch?
Right.
It's but this has changed now. Like, it used to be about fitness with Ibu.
I don't know. At the time I was talking about it, Brian, that was also
I'm sure you could have got a lot of people saying, yeah, keep him. But
no,
what I'm just saying,
Konate healthy and available is one of the best center backs in the league.
But I just don't think he suits this style of play. This is the thing. I don't think he suits that style of play. I think he suits Klopp.
Well, I know. I was also saying this when Klopp was still with the team. That's why I was saying what I was saying. But
I know with that. No, before we were talking about it, before we even knew it, that the guy is get rid of him because he's injury prone.
Yeah,
like that was it. This is what we've always said. It's nothing about ability. It's just But anyway,
it's just availability. It's not about ability. It's about availability.
But it changed then when we come in and see we're going to play this system. It's like, even if he is fit for all 38 games, I think it's like the Endo thing. It's like, yeah, look, he's really good and all that, but I mean, not in my style of play. I mean, that's what I think it is, you know?
I think there is. I know Rostic. I know the streets is asking what style of play. He says slot only 2 months in. Come on, guys.
You've seen it, man. You've seen the difference. You've seen the difference in build up from the back.
There is a noticeable difference in style of play when it comes to Klopp versus Klopp. I mean, not saying they're night and day difference, but I would say that you can certainly see a difference in the two styles that we're seeing. Personally.
In terms of how the defender will be involved in it, I think that's what we're saying. Kwanzaa is almost nailed on now to start ahead of Ibu.
Yeah. And that was under Klopp, and it hasn't changed under Slot actually. I think that under Klopp, Konate saw his position, his guaranteed starting position be surpassed by the emergence of Kwanzaa growing into the role.
The thing is, Klopp wasn't picking Kwanzaa over him because he preferred him. He was picking him over him because he knew Kwanzaa would be fit weeks in a row.
Let's be honest. Konate wasn't starting in front of Matip, really.
Didn't put him straight back in. Klopp looked at him and probably thought, you'd be injured to get in the far end. I'll leave you out still. You know what I mean? No. That's the way it went down. I don't think he looked at Jarrell and thought, he's a better option. He just thought he's a regular option. Like he'll be fit next week, whereas this guy won't.
No, my point is I think Matip would have started if Matip wasn't.
He started the season.
I mean, Matip was the preferred choice at most of the times. In the beginning of the year, at least, he was the preferred choice over a Konate was healthy when Matip was playing. So.
Yeah, I know what Ross is saying, but what I'm saying is there is a better player in our squad to play that system, and he will start over him because it's not about no one saying he can't pass the ball, no one saying they all have to be Beckenbauer, but what we're saying is that it's all about profile, and Kwanzaa and BBD, I mean, they were born to play the kind of build-up play that he wants to play. And Ibu, as good as he might be for the other teams, he won't fit what he wants to do. It's not like he's not world-class. He is world-class, but his skill set is not as applicable to what we're trying to do now.
Right.
As we were. But Ibu isn't even that experienced, Rasta. He isn't. He's not even that much more experienced than Kwanzaa is when you actually look at it. Ibu has some games in Red Bull, and he comes to Liverpool. That's kind of it. Kwanzaa has a lot of experience as well. So, look, we'll see. But I think Kwanzaa looks like a much better fit for what we're looking to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even a terrible, but it doesn't mean we want to have a terrible passer in our backline. Like that doesn't mean he wouldn't take a better passer. Mm-hmm. I mean, and someone is saying he's a terrible passer. Well, look, I mean, this isn't something I want to argue over too much, but from what I can see, to me, if I was picking two players to play that kind of football, and one of them was Kwanzaa and the other was Ibu, I'd pick a Kwanzaa. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm sorry, he is very young, he is experienced, but like we've all said last year, he looks like he's about 25, 26. Been playing all his life. So, some people are good enough.
Milante, do you want to say something? Do you want to add something?
No, I was just saying, just in the Konate debate. It's weird because Konate, I feel, as much as I'm saying, he's getting something, I think a lot of fans overrated him at the start. To a certain extent, again, I'm going to bring another set in the back, and people will disagree. I think Joe Gomez is as good as all two of them when fully fit. But people sleep on him. That's the thing. They see injuries, but it's not like he can't do anything. That Kwanzaa is nothing, and Kwanzaa will be good. Don't get me wrong, but let's be 100%. Kwanzaa is not levels above Konate or Gomez at the moment.
Totally different player. Totally different player to Konate.
Totally different player. That's true. But we're just talking about, right? We're just talking about the defenders in each of them. But my saying is that Kwanzaa's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not better. A fully fit Konate is not better than right now, but he will be in the future. But I think we just need to have a balance, and Gomez is just as good as all three, as two of them, in my opinion. So again, in terms of Arne Slott's play, look, I get what Brian's saying in terms of the football and what Konate does, and people say he's a bad passer. And again, as much as I say Konate is overrated, he's not trash. He's not a trash passer overall.
No,
not you. No, not you. No. Yeah, Lee. No, I'm not saying you. No.
The ball.
Yeah, Lee. Yeah, but what I'm saying, I've heard it from.
Like say.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Neil.
Yeah. No, not you or not the chat. But I've just heard it when he came. He's like he's this and that, and then when he has the bad games, he's trash, and then this. But it's a bit in between. But if Slot wants to get rid of Konate for that reason, then so be it. But again, he has to get someone that's like Brian said, like Brian's man, someone like that, or Hiparte.
Midfield featuring Zubimendi. Konate could have an easier time in the back four if we're not down the pitch every fucking 5-10 like we were under Jürgen, with a little bit more control, like the way we play. It might suit Ibu a bit more and be more what he's used to beforehand. I don't know. The inverted put a lot of pressure on him to cover right back, didn't it? Like, and he kept getting straight.
It's true. It's the whole Trent thing, covering, and and then him and Virgil doing a lot of work to cover Trent, which was,
He was with a right back next to him and actually right back by his side.
Yeah, but you know what? Me personally, again, I know we all said to get the centre back, but if we don't get the centre back by the end of the transfer window, and again, hindsight's a wonderful thing, so probably not. But if you're just in a crystal ball telling me VVD, Gomez, Konate, Kwanzaa are fit for about 75 to 8% of the season, then I'll take that for one season. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we got 25 league games out of it, I'd be pleased. If he only missed, say, 13 and played 25 Premier League games, that'd be a vast improvement on most of his seasons here, I think his best season, he made about 20, did he, appearances or something in his grip. The best season was when we got to the Paris final, and he did play about 10 or so games in a row, definitely. And it went well. Him and Virgil were quite solid, and he kept his place. He kept Joel out the team for the finals, didn't he?
Yeah, it's true, Lee. Yeah, 100%. That's the thing.
Yeah, apparently we have Zubimendi in the house, and
this has been taken way over the top by the chat.
I know. I did not. I am not saying that he is a bad player in any way.
All I ever trying to say was that I think he doesn't suit Arne Slott's system.
Which is fair enough.
Prove me wrong. Can't wait. Yeah, there's nobody hating him, toss him aside. And I pointed out regularly last season that him and Virgil together was statistically better than the Saliba and Gabriel partnership that everybody was losing their mind over. I pointed that out lots of times last season. That Konate played in the Ibu role is one of the best in the league. Dominates players physically and can play football. Of course he can. But I just didn't know if but how do you know he doesn't suit it? I don't know, Rasa. Maybe because I've been watching football for about 35 years and I've developed opinions. Again, that's what I'm saying, dude. This is just me.
I get you.
Okay.
We all get you.
Okay.
We all get you.
No.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
He's not a build-up player.
You know
what? He's not a player in build-up.
It's more so like, if anything, it's what happened in that Manchester United game early and quite often with him, with Konate. He was putting some poor passes in. He put a couple of poor passes in that end up leading to them having big opportunities.
It happens.
And it happens. That happens.
Yeah.
but you do have to be very, very if you're going to play for out of the back, you're going to have to be a good passer. It has nothing to do with if we're going to play from the back, you're going to have to be a good passer. Whether it's our goalkeeper, whether it's our fullbacks, whether it's our obviously whether it's our center halves, you have to be a good passer to fit into this system. It's just that simple, And I don't know. I don't. It's not like he's ripping off diagonals like Virgil van Dijk, or moving the ball quickly from his feet with really, really great passes. That's all I'm saying is that for him to fit into this system, he not only has to step it up a little bit with his levels with passing, but in the bottom line is Crab, he has to be available. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I got so much flack for trying to back Thiago last year, it was that Thiago would make a difference in our team if he was available. Guess what? He wasn't, and that's just so. As much talent or as highly rated he was a player by any of us.
I think
if you're not available, then it's neither here nor there.
Rasa, we were driving at 20 and you took it up to 100. Okay, we were just talking about vague kind of profiles and ways of playing football. No one is here trashing. Nobody is here doing anything like that. We're just talking in if you get down to the finer details, would he pick him over this type of guy? Nobody is here trashing the guy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is here. We're just talking about it. We're just saying that the type of player he might be. It's not the type of player you would bring in to play that type of ball. Can he play it? Yeah, of course he can.
Yeah, it's a football.
But all I'm saying is I think Kwanzaa suits that role better. I think VVD. I mean, we all love Ibu. He will look when he's on his game. He's fit. You're not getting by him. He can dominate a football pitch, But it's you seen the way. Look, but Rossi, you can see you have to watch what he's doing. It is different the way we build up. So it will require someone more calm on the ball, especially in the box. And Kwanzaa, I mean, if Kwanzaa didn't play for us, our fans would want us to go out and buy him. If Ibu didn't play for us now, I don't think our fans would want us to go out and buy him. That's how I think about these things sometimes, just very simply like that. If he didn't play for us, would I want us to go and get him? If Kwanzaa did, I would want us to go and get Kwanzaa. If Ibu was playing, would I want us to go and get Ibu to play in this system? No. Do I love him and adore him and back him all the way because he's playing for us? Yes, of course I do. But that's the way I do. Sometimes when I can't make up my mind about something, I bring it down to, if he didn't play for us, would I want us to go and buy him? And I wouldn't go out for Ibu now, but I'd be trying to get Kwanzaa in, yeah.
Well, look, I don't know what's going on with Ibu at the moment. I mean, I know he's been his availability, like I said, has been. It's been touch and go, and I mean, look, it's not only just for us; it's for there is an arguable mention of he had an opportunity to play for France, and he couldn't even hold down that role for instance, in that whether with his availability. Well, that's the only thing I'm really questioning is his availability. If Ibu's healthy, I will say that he could arguably be one of the best center backs in the world, if not in the Prem. But with his availability, it brings a different question into the equation, and that is why I say if we have I'll land right here. If we have the one thing I said last year is that if we had a center back pairing that was a center back pairing similar to the availability of Arsenal's, I think that we should have won the Prem last year. We could have possibly held on to our run as being at the top and holding on to it. That's what I'm trying to get across. Having some certainty in the center and with your center back pairing is big in my opinion. And I think that's one of the main reasons why Arsenal have been able to perform at such good levels hasn't been because there's some scoring phenomenon style team. It's been primarily because of the assurance of their center back pairing.
Yeah, keeping it tight.
That's just my opinion on that. That's the reason why I stress that the importance of having a center back pair in that we can rely on. That's all I'm asking for. And Kwanzaa has emerged as being a suitable option to be that pair. If that's the pair we're gonna do, cool. Make that so. That's all I'm trying to get across.
I've seen enough of Ibu and Virgil as a partnership to believe in it. If Ibu can be fit, that's all I'm saying. Then the last word I'll say on Ibu is I know that partnership can be a success under any manager, whether he suits. But I'm prepared to accept that he might not be as good on the ball, but is a really good defender if he's fit. You know what I mean? I'm not asked if he isn't brilliant on the ball as long as he's a really good defender. Because Virgil's good on the ball and so's Trent. And Robbo's adequate on the ball. So we'll be all right, I reckon. And maybe if the midfield's a little bit more secure and
Gabriel's rash,
we keep possession a little bit more, a bit
better. Lee, I was going to say, I'm going to bring up Bernie's question real quick. I guess you guys don't have flights to go to after this. That's all good. But
my flight's still next week, so I'm good.
Yeah, I know. And Tracy already brought Lee's late dinner. So I'll just say this. Bernie's asking, who do you think Virgil would prefer? And also, Rasta, look at, and this is something I believe Brian brought up really early in the discussion about center back pairings. And look at the minutes played when it comes to Arsenal's center back pairing and our center back pairing. Look at the minutes played, and you'll see that there is a considerable gap when it comes to Virgil and any other center back on our team. But if you look at, again, I'm using Arsenal as a bar here. If you look at Arsenal, both Gabriel and Saliba pretty much played the same minutes. And not only did they play the same minutes, they played the most minutes, some of the most minutes on the team. That's a big difference, a big difference maker for me. Real quick,
makes a big difference to any side to be able to consistently pick the same pair at centre half more often than not. If you keep chopping and changing, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's where we're getting. That's where I'm getting with the to the streets. By the way, and real quick, do you have an answer for Lee? Do you have an answer for Bernie's question? And answer in the chat real quick too, if you have an answer for it.
Who would he prefer to partner?
Who do you think? I mean, I think he would have preferred to partner with Matip. I mean, to be honest with you.
No, but that's the question. Who would Virgil prefer? Yeah.
Who do you think Virgil would prefer?
Virgil, didn't he? Massive skill set. Matched Virgil.
Well, Matip's going. Yeah, Matip's not out.
Yeah, Ibu or Konate.
Yeah, Ibu or Konate.
Say Ibu.
Ibu? You'll say Ibu?
Yeah.
Okay. Nalante?
Gomez.
Yeah, see, I told you, trouble. Always trouble.
No, that's the right.
Always trouble.
That's the question. I'm just saying, what would you prefer? I'm just saying Gomez because they're tight. They're really tight, and they've got previous. So I think he doesn't mind. I don't think he cares.
Statistically, he has the best statistics out of all the center back pairings that he's had. VVD and Joey have the best statistics.
Yeah,
Joey.
I know.
But Nilante, if you could only pick Kwanzaa or the Ibu.
Kwanzaa or Ibu. Right.
Who would you pick? In terms of who VVD would pair up.
You know what? I think Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian, who are you going with?
I think he sees himself like it was made. The point was made very well earlier on about having one of each.
Mm-hmm.
The classic being Vidic, the ultimate destroyer, one of the hardest player, like the first defender ever to win Premier League Player of the Year. You know, real before Ferdinand won it. And Ferdinand never won. He broke the world transfer record for a defender twice before he's 23. The ultimate ball player, right? That's your classic one. Everyone wants to go that way. I love it, right? Makes a load of sense. A hard man on one side, a ball player on the other. You have to have that. But sometimes you can have both, right? Like Lawrenson and Hansen was one of our best ever. People kind of rewrite and say, oh, Hansen was the ball player and Lawrenson was like a hard man. No, they were both ball players. So if both of the ball players are world class, you don't need to have that hard man combo. So if, you know, to me, just we look like we have two Virgil van Dijks, potentially. Now, I know I'm over-egging that pudding, right? But Kwanzaa plays like Van Dijk. I mean, who wouldn't want one on the left and one on the right? You know, so for right now, I think Virgil would feel a lot more comfortable playing football in a back two with Kwanzaa in this system. But in the previous one, he would have preferred having Ibu to go and do the physical stuff and cover all the ground. But right now in this system, I think he would probably prefer to play with Kwanzaa. I'm leaving Gomez out of it. And I can't with you either, dude. Seriously, at this day, I thought we were friends, man. I thought we were friends. I sent some whiskey. I think I can cancel. Can you cancel like post?
He did say he was. He said he was rocking. He's like, I can't with this Irish guy. But you're drinking Guinness.
Look, Rasta. A bit of Irish, Rasta.
Yeah, I didn't know like who started this thing. I mean, one simple comment about I think Kwanzaa is pretty good, and we've gotten here. I'm off Christmas lists. I mean, this is insane. Yeah, we all this is an Ibu Love Appreciation Society. You know what a player.
Yeah.
You know what a player, but I don't Rasta. I didn't realize. I thought you were a Harvey guy. I didn't know Rasta was an Ibu guy. I thought you were a Harvey guy.
No, yeah, right. Yeah, he is. Yeah, Ringlets is not his favorite player at all.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, we'll have to save it for. We'll save the ringlets discussion for another day. Oh man, oh you're a Robbo guy. Okay, I got you. I'm surprised. Well, I'm surprised you weren't getting all animated when people brought up bringing in
Davies. Yeah. Where was that?
Maybe it's because it's Canada.
Oh, true. Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason why. I got you. I see where your allegiances lie. Big up to everyone out in the chat. Big up to the panel too for today. Irishman, Delante, Lee, all quality people, as well as K-Mac as well. Can't forget that K-Mac was here as well. We are going to be set for another episode tomorrow. I guess we could say it's going to be the overrated show, but I don't know.
You can hold it.
Yeah, I don't know. We might have to hold off possibly once again if a Zubimendi decision has been made by tomorrow. Hopefully it has been. Let's be honest with you. Let's hope that it's made. Let's hope that it's not some waiting limbo thing. And if anything, you know what? If it's going to be somewhere Zubimendi is going to, kind of stutter and shuffle his feet before hopping on the boat, then hey, you know what? Then let's just move on. Let's take the money that we're going to use for that and get Bastoni in, or let's get these other names, whoever it is that we're trying to target, and let's just move on. Because if anything, for me, it should be. I get Zubimendi is a great player, but then again, guess what? Liverpool is a great club, and if you don't want to come, if you got to think twice or don't want to come to Liverpool, guess what? Kick rocks. I care less. So that's my last take on that. But if you do pick it, welcome. So, you know. So
find it hard to leave his hometown club, man. Give him some, you know.
We'll give you a little rope.
leeway.
We'll give you a little bit of We'll give you a little.
It's his hometown club.
On the lifesaver. Yeah.
I love the fact that he has that depth of feeling for his hometown club. That he would find it that hard to leave. That shows that he's a man who understands what it means to play for a club, you know, which is what we all talk about, right? So, yeah, you don't want these guys that are going, give me another $5,000 and I'll be there in 2 minutes. You know, you want those guys who, it's like, geez, this means a lot. You know, this is my hometown club, man. So, yeah, but come here and be that next guy. It shows that he really has a depth of feeling, you know, for, you know, what it means to play. And it probably isn't all about money. And like someone else said earlier on, do you want that guy and you want to go to all that trouble knowing that he wants to go to that other club? Because what happens if they come back next year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Davies to Madrid, you know. Oh, why go all out for Davies knowing that in a year's time he could be batting his eyelashes at Madrid again?
We are not a lily pad. We are not we're not a stepping stone club. That's how I look at it. I get
let them take their time and make
players might have other teams they grew up wanting to play for and the likes, but that's neither. I mean, like a guy like Zubi, I mean, let him take his time, so that when he fully is decided that he does want to come here, he's so determined, he's so right about it that in 6 months' time he's not going to be, oh no, what did I do? You know, so that you know he's fully committed. Then he didn't get joshed into it by an agent or you know his family or someone saying go get the money, and then 2 months down the line he's like, oh, did I do the right thing? Mm-hmm.
He took his time, worked it out, talked to everybody. It's like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Right, let's go. Let's pull the trigger. Then you know you've got a committed player and someone whose mind is in the right place.
Right.
And
that's
what
all
I'm hoping happens.
Yeah,
that's what I'm really hoping happens, because if that does happen, it shows we've got an incredibly mature young man on our hands. Yeah. You know, it's not an agent
sometimes
job.
Sometimes it's easier to forget that they're 25 is still 25. It's not like we're talking like 30.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You know, a huge deal for this guy. Yeah. So come on, we get it right, and as long if your psychology is right when you come in the door, because let's not forget TikTok. You know, do you want to play against Ipswich? Because we got to have people ready to come in and not take a long time to settle. No drama, you know. So I'm happy to wait it out and just get for the right guy.
Yeah.
The right mindset.
So am I. Look, it says a lot.
What I would think is really cool.
It says a lot that he's even considering Liverpool, considering that. Look, Arsenal's already come to him. He said no. Manchester United was the other team that came for him. He said no. You know, but like, it means a lot. It means a lot.
One thing I would love though, which would be really cool, is like if we, because like there's this thing that's happening. If we just came out tomorrow and went, you know, oh, check Romano, and everyone's thinking it's Zubimendi. It's like, no, Liverpool have signed a defender. You know, just that'd be really cool. And then
that'd be great. I would, like I said earlier, the first name I would love to see through the door would be Bastoni. To be honest with you, get Bastoni in the door. You know, I'll come on here. I made lasagna last night. You know, just in the hopes of being able to. So there you go. All right, we're out, people. We will see you guys tomorrow. Again, if there's a Zubimendi update, we will make it about Zubimendi tomorrow. But most likely, even if there isn't, I think that we should probably still do the overrated show, which I think will be a fun show to do. We might be able to. It'll be the weekend. There'll be an opportunity to kind of get this crap off our mind. You know, a lot of times, you know, when it comes to making big announcements, you try to make them in the week, not during the weekend. So, like, chances are it will happen tomorrow. So, either it happens or it doesn't. Either way, we'll be here for you guys. We'll be united as always. We'll always be walking together in solidarity. As always, I shouldn't say united. I when I said it, it rang wrong. So we'll.
That's a real Liverpool fan there. You can't even say the damn word.
I know, exactly. So, yes, we will always be walking together.
So do you refuse? Do you just say I flew airlines?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So how did you get here? I flew airlines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man. Until tomorrow, I wish everyone a great day or a great evening or a great morning. Whichever is the case for you, I'm always wishing greatness for you. And I also would like to say, again, thank you to the panel. Thank you to the Irishman. Thank you to Nolante. Thank you to Lee. Thank you to K-Mac, who was with us earlier. Big up to everyone in the chat. Great stuff. Great interaction. Even if you don't have the same opinions, we still got love for you. So, as long as you're a red in my eyes, hey, you know what? Your family. So yes. Any quick words you want to say? Any parting words you want to say, Irishman?
No, just like K-Mac was saying earlier on, don't give up hope.
Don't give up
we
hope.
Will be. Yep. We will be. We'll be filling that hole. Oh, sorry. No, that's the wrong term. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll be filling that 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about saying that. I don't know about saying that one.
That gap. Yeah.
That could be wrong too. That could be a pause as well. Yeah. But all the same, Nolante. Nolante. Yeah. You have any parting words you want to say to the people before we push out? He's on mute. So, Lee, any parting words before we push off?
No, just hope we get some good news in the next few days. I mean, we've got a few weeks of the transfer window left, but I would like any business to be done before we kick off at Ipswich, which is 9 days from now.
Yeah,
like that.
I'd like to see us have this solidified by Sevilla, to be honest with you. Right? That's who we're playing, I believe, right? In the doubleheader.
Yeah. Those like 2 little weird. They're like 2 hour-long games, or like 2 60-minute games, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they're playing.
That's weird though. I think that I heard that it's going to be at Anfield, right?
Is it? I don't know.
Someone was telling me that they had I think it was G was talking about his friend from GTV was telling me that telling us that his friend has a ticket to the game or something like that.
The Crystal Palace guy, isn't it?
That guy.
Oh man, that's funny. Anyway, big up to everyone out there. Until tomorrow, as always. Nolante, did you want to give a shout real quick? Anything you want to say real quick before we bounce?
Yeah, just say big up the chat. As always, man. Keep on subscribing to Tough Man. Tell a friend, and yeah, we move for tomorrow and the news that we want day by day. ZUBI.
There we go. There you go. All right. As always, up the Reds, people. Up the Reds. And we'll talk to you soon. Tomorrow. See you guys here tomorrow. Peace.